McHale who gets the catch. He's got patrol.
Got an evening of basketball for you here on SEC TV. It's a boys and girls doubleheader as the Tartan Titans welcome rival and conference foe North to town. I'm Sam Erickson alongside Corey Franzmeyer. Corey, here to call all the action. We're getting set for tip-off in the girls game as we're ready to get things underway. And we got two district rivals going here, so it should be a good evening of hoops.
Yeah, it's always good times here. Last year we were together here to do this doubleheader as well, and it's always good times. District 622, crosstown rivals, Oakdale, North St. Paul.
Yeah, we got the records up on the screen there for you quickly, but Tartan coming into this one 12-10, a couple games above 500. North, a bit of a rebuilding year. They've been down the past few seasons, but as you mentioned, this is a rivalry game, and never really know what can happen in those.
Yeah, you got to think, there's probably a few of these girls that have, you grow up in North St. Paul, Oakdale, and they probably played youth basketball together, and then they branch off, go to different high schools, and they were teammates, and now they're rivals.
Katia Cummings is going to get Tartan on the board with a three-pointer there, and as the first score we have here, 3-0 to Tartan. I mentioned we got a double header here on SEC tonight, so we got the girls game here first. And immediately following, we'll do the boys, Tartan and North. And that's a doozy as well, with North St. Paul undefeated in conference, and Tartan have a great season as well. That one thrown away, and it looks like it is going to go to Tartan as the Polars commit the turnover.
Yeah, coming into this here, on the score sheet, record-wise, Tartan's 12-10. It's nothing, mind-blowing or anything like that. But North St. Paul's 3-19, so they had some struggles here, and I think the most important thing is, don't beat themselves here early and lose confidence. I think what they need to do is, Tartan's a little more talented on paper, but as long as they, play smart and stay within themselves, I think they can make this a game.
Yeah, and I know with your chat with Coach before the game, you kind of mentioned that they hung with them pretty well. That is, North hung with Tartan pretty well in the first half of the first game, so we'll see how they do here in the first half. Aggressive going to the basket, and Kelly McCain's going to go to the line. She draws the foul, second foul here early for Tartan. So take a look at the Metro East standings here for the girls basketball.
Yeah, as you can see, Tartan, 12-10, a little above 500, just about 500 in a tough Metro East conference. But North has had their struggles, 0-10, 3-13 overall. But these games in the year they build for the future, and this is a first-year head coach establishing a program. Sky's the limit here. And
Metro East Conference, very good year in, year out. Matamidi on the top of the heap this season as the offensive board goes out to Molly Zhang. She keeps it alive for the Polars, and they'll get a second chance here. Zhang's now attacking the basket, and it's going to go the other way as the offensive foul is called. So 3-1 after McCain's able to hit 1 of 2 from the line. Gabby Hicks bringing it up for Tartan. Finds his way out to Katia Cummings again. That one off the rim. Rebound to Tartan, blocked, and it's going to stay with the Titans.
Yeah, so far, Tartan, the first couple minutes in here, they've definitely shown a little more physicality under the basket, and that could make for a long evening here for the Polars.
Cummings again from 3. That hits off the heel of the rim. Battle for the rebound, and I think they're going to get Dejanay McKinney on the push. Senior number 35. And that's already the third team foul on Tartan. And we are not even 2 minutes into this one.
Yeah, Cummings comes into the game averaging about 11.5 points a game. But as we can see, she is not shy to shoot the basketball. 1 for 3 from three-point line already.
That one's taken away by Kirky. She gets it to Cummings, and as you were mentioning, not shy at pulling the trigger, and she knocks that one down, nothing but net. Kane trying to inbound, stolen away by McKinney. McKinney short. That one's rebounded. Lily Pfefferly grabbing the board. She'll bring it up court. Pfefferly going all the way, kicks it to McCain. McCain from the baseline rattles out, and the rebound to Aurora Roberts.
Yeah, it was a good ball movement there by the Polars, though. Drive it down, look for the open shooter, and had no problem finding McCain there, and she had a good look, and it just sometimes you get a good look and you put a good rotation on the ball and it just doesn't go in.
And timeout from head coach Scott Antle in his first year with North St. Paul. Saw his team having some trouble in the backcourt, decided to call a timeout, and they'll talk things over.
Yeah, I think a lot of times that.
So we did have some words with the coaches before the game, so we're going to just send you to those interviews real quick here.
How's it going, Coach Burgess, this evening?
Good. It's going real good.
Good. How does your lady Titans here fare against match up against the Polars here this evening?
The Polars is a really good team. If we don't play together and play hard, it's definitely going to be a tough one.
How would you say the kind of the highs and lows of your season have been so far this year?
Definitely the highs has been the team rallying around each other. Lows would probably be the buy-in process has been a little bit slow. Of course, I'm going to be a perfectionist, but definitely continuing to push them.
How would you see your girls going into sections? Like, are they ready? Is it kind of a younger group that's learning and it's going to be more of an experience thing, or you think they got a chance to maybe upset some folks and break some hearts this year?
We want to have a chance, but it's always a work in progress. It depends on how they want to play and each and every night. But it's definitely been enjoyable getting to know the girls and seeing them play as hard as they do.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, Coach, best of luck this evening against the crosstown rivals, and you take care and have a good night.
All right, that was our very own Corey Franzmeyer before this big matchup, catching up with the coaches. And a few words before we missed a basket from Tartan. 7-1 right now, 15:07 left to go in the opening half. North St. Paul with it in their own half, get to take it away. Katia Cummings up off the window and in. That'll make it 9-1. Tartan off on a good foot here early.
Yeah, after talking to Coach Burgess, this is his first year here with the Titans, and he's got the club to about a 500 record. But he said it's been kind of highs and lows when it comes to these ladies coming together. He's seen parts where they're really coming together and they've been almost brilliant, and then there's the times where he feels like there's a disconnect with his team. So it's definitely he's been riding the waves on this particular season.
Definitely got a lot of talent on display for this Tartan Titans team. And an interesting thing of note is one of the star players, Zaria Chevre, star sophomore, who's been on this team since an 8th grader. Didn't start out this one. Does have the jersey on, sitting on the bench. But started out on the bench tonight. Looks like Dejane McKinney's going to take his seat. She'll be replaced. That's Angelina Mims coming in, number 11. She's a sophomore guard. India Kirkwood driving into the lane. She draws some contact and thinks she'll go to the free throw line. There's a look at Zaria Chevre coming into this one, leading the Titans at 15.3 points per game.
Yeah, well, they haven't missed her much yet this evening because Katia Cummings has not been shy to shoot, and when she does, she makes it. So, she leads the way here with 7 points. She's got 7 out of the 9 points for the Titans so far.
Take a look at how India Kirkwood got to the free throw line. Good aggressiveness on the drive. Kirkwood got the first free throw to fall. That'll make it 9-2. That one goes off. And Kendra Kirky tracks it down. Cummings now driving to the lane. Get past a couple North defenders, just short. Rebound to Lily Pfefferly. Pfefferly looks up. Gabby Hicks gets a hand in there. And she's going to turn the ball over as it'll be Tartan ball. Good active hands by Tartan on the press defense.
I know Cummings is riding the hot hand here so far this evening, but on that aspect where she drives in and gets double teamed, she's got to find that open player.
So we had another interview. We'll with this timeout. We'll get to that other interview you did, Corey, before this game. So let's roll that clip right now.
All right, I'm here with North St. Paul head coach Scott Antle. How's it going this evening, sir?
Going well, yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad. I'm real excited for this big, district matchup here tonight. How does your team fare against Tartan here this evening?
Well, we've had a long week of practice. We're excited for this game. We held with them for the first half, the first time we played them, but we're hoping things change around this time.
Experience-wise, how are your Polars this year? Is it a young team, up and coming, or is it kind of a senior-laden team?
It's a little of both. We start 3 seniors. We've lost a couple girls to injury, and so we're kind of balanced with the young girls not having much varsity experience, so they're learning on the fly. So,
how do you feel about the old lady Polars here heading in to sections this particular year?
Well, it's my first year at North, so I come from a program that was big. Coming over to North, it's a whole different conference, getting to know teams, and the section-wise for us is extremely hard section. Right now we'll be paired up with Cretan, who Cretan right now is number 3 team in the state. So it's going to be a tough matchup, but we're ready to play them.
Well, I think if anything, it's definitely going to be a learning experience for the younger girls going in, building as your first-year coach and trying to build a nucleus and a foundation here. So I wish you best of luck this evening against Tartan, and take care.
Thank you, sir.
Back.
All right, our very own Corey Franzmeyer with Coach Scott Antle before the game. And I'm sure Coach Antle probably wishes things started off a little bit better for his Polars as they're trailing 11-2. They'll hold on to the ball right there after nearly turning it over, though. And with 12:41 left to go, we'll see if they can add on to the scoreboard. Not made a field goal yet, just a couple of free throws on a couple separate occasions.
Yeah, this is a very athletic Titans team. They've got a lot of talent, and one thing right now is on the defensive end, they're just smothering North and anything they can throw at them.
Kirky's going to let it go. Can't get it to go. Comes off the front of the rim. And Pfefferly there for the board. She'll dribble it out, find Kirkwood. Kirkwood looks up. She's going to go right for the basket and gets the runner to go. She was falling out of bounds. Nice shot from India Kirkwood.
Yeah, not a bad drive and shot there by the sophomore guard. And, that's one thing that you can tell this North team right now is lacking is a go-to ball handler.
Yeah, they lost their leading scorer, point guard from a year ago. It's in fact an 8th grader. Enrolled at a different school, so lost, you could argue, their top producer. Here's their top producer from this season, Madeline Sloan, going up and under the bucket. Can't get the roll. And Kirky will take it the other way for Tartan. She lays it up. That's a tough one. Aurora Roberts there for the follow-up and gets the bucket. This is Nicole Anderson, number 13 for North, senior guard. Ball fake from Sloan. She drives baseline, and a foul upcoming. I think that's Katia Cummings, number 3.
That was a good to find the open player there by Nicole Anderson, but she did also have an open lane there, and that's something she'll learn. If she continues on here, is sometimes as a guard and a point guard, you just got to drive it and take that instead of always thinking about passing it off.
Sloan hits the first. Take a look at the drive from Sloan. Something you notice from this Polars team here early on. Very aggressive going towards the basket. I think Coach Scott Antle, that's a point of emphasis. Be aggressive, get to the free throw line when you can. Try and get some points that way.
A lot of it, depending on, their outside shooting, that might be, how they find most of their offense is kind of driving to the hole and drawing fouls and making free throws.
Angelina Mims drives to the hole, gets no call, misses, and Nicole Anderson off to the races and gets the lay-in to go.
Yeah, great fast break basket there, and one nice thing about that take, there was never a doubt. She saw the open lane and just took it right to the rack for the easy 2 points.
So India Kirkwood got a hand in on that pass. It'll stay with Tartan. It's going to be a Mosher inbounding. Mosher gets it back. Mosher now from beyond the arc. That goes off. Gabby Hicks tracks it down, gets the offensive board, kicks it out. Mosher again driving the lane. Kirkwood gets a hand up. Nice job not to foul. Now a Kirky makes some moves, rattles around, comes out. And I think she fouled Kelly McLean on the rebound. That's going to be team foul number 6 on Tartan already.
Yeah, that last possession there by Tartan got a little chaotic. I think that was a forced 3-point shot there by Mosher, and then from there just kind of it got a little chaotic. They scrambled, and instead of just working the ball around and finding the open shooter like they have been so far, I think they kind of forced an offensive possession there.
Kirkwood battling, gets past the defender and gets it across half court. Now out to Sloan. Sloan with a ball fake, gets into the lane, throws it up, gets a roll, and it's 13-10.
Yeah, here we thought 11-2, and this might be an early blowout out of the gates here. And North St. Paul has, fought their way back with some smart basketball here. Now we got ourselves a ball game here in the first half.
Yeah, not surprising. Coach Justin Burgess has Zaria Chevre over at the scorer's table. And Gabby Hicks knocks down a big three-pointer to make it a 6-point game. Nice passing to break the press. Kirkwood with the up and under lay-in. And it's 16-12.
Yeah, one of those situations there where you knock down a big three and you kind of get momentum back in, then you kind of forget to get back and play some defense there. And Kirkwood was there to get in there for the easy bucket.
Yeah, good job by the Polars passing out of the press. McCain gets the rebound again. Kirkwood will slow it up. Sloan tries to force it inside, tapped away, but it'll stay with the Polars. This will be our first look at Zaria Chevre for the Titans as she comes in, number 21. Averaging over 19 points a game. (9-14), I should say, left to go in the opening half. Kirkwood able to keep the ball alive, no call, no travel, but Zaria Chevre and the Titans end up with it. Mosher now drives the basket. She misses the lay-in. Rebound up for grabs. Mosher got it, almost threw it away, and now it switches over. Katia Cummings tries to hit a three. Zaria Chevre there to clean it up, as Tartan was able to get a few chances of that one.
Yeah, she wastes no time getting in the game and making her presence known with an easy 2-point bucket. But with even number 10 Mosher there and Cummings, and with geez, where am I?
We got a foul coming in here. Gabby Hicks Tartan able to keep it alive again.
Either way, it gives them Tartans 3 ball handlers, and that's something that North just doesn't have right now. Is someone who can kind of control the pace of play on the offensive end, and now Tartan has 3 in the game at one time, so it's going to make it a tough time for North to defend.
Yeah, not only issues with ball handlers, we just saw in that last possession of North having an issue inbounding the ball as Tartan with that full court press. Mentioned the athleticism. That'll be tough for the Polars to break.
Yeah, they just got to keep the momentum. They got the momentum back. They were able to climb their way back into the game, and now they just got to do the same thing, kind of slow things up on the offensive end, and good, smart offensive possessions, and utilize more of your energy on the defensive end against this talented Tartan team.
Another offensive rebound for the Tartan. This time it's Dejanay McKinney, and that's a lot of extra chances that this Polar defense is giving the Titans. Sloppy play again from North. It's going to be Tartan ball. Pfefferly wasn't looking for the pass. Almost kept it under control.
Yeah, no wasted possessions for the Polars. With the athletic, how much athleticism they have on the offensive end here for Tartan. North's got to be real smart when they're on the offensive end on what they're doing and make sure they're making value out of their possessions.
So it looked like Zaria Chevrolet had to go take a quick seat. I think she had something on her wrist that the official made her take off and forced her out of the game. But she's right back at the scorer's table. She'll come back in at the next stoppage. Gabby Hicks trying to drive and make something happen. She'll kick it. Kirky with the long two. Bounces off the front rim, hits the backboard. Rebound battle for it, but it'll stay with Tartan. And Zaria Chevrolet indeed comes back into the game. Ball in with Chevrolet. She makes a spin move, left-handed lay-in, good. And it's 23-12.
Yeah, it gives her 4 points here right out of the gate, coming off the bench.
Looks like the initial wild pass from Sloan ends up back with North. They'll keep the ball. Tartan nearly got another steal. Sloan unable to get it in there. Smart play. I think she just tossed up in motion to keep it with North as time was ticking down on 5 seconds to get it in bounds.
Yeah, running out of time a little bit there, and you know, she made the best of the situation. I don't think Moster was ready for that, and you know, bought her another handful of seconds there.
Yeah, Sloan, the senior, using some of that experience to keep the ball with the Polars. Trying to get it in. Finally finds Nicole Anderson right at half court. Anderson able to keep it in. She's trying to dribble out of some trouble. And referee maybe bailed her out a little bit as a foul against Moster. That's going to be number 7, I believe, on Tartan. So Nicole Anderson's going to head to the free throw line for a 1-and-1.
Yeah, and that was the situation there by Tartan where, I mean, they had her trapped and she had no way out of it, and they just got too grabby and too physical on that defensive play there.
Anderson just off on the first one. It's a rebound pulled in by McKinney. Excellent feed from Moster, and the reverse layup good from Katia Cummings. And it's a 25-12 game.
Yeah, that basket gives her 11 already here in the first half, puts her as the first player in double figures here this evening.
Nicole Anderson nearly making to the basket, poked away though. Tartan looked to run. Now they're going to have to slow it up. Katia Cummings driving. And I think it's going to be an offensive foul, player control foul, as Polar defender was established.
It'll be interesting to see with this this Tartan team as they grow a little older here, you know, with Moster and Chevrolet and Cummings all as sophomores. One thing I've noticed here is they're all very talented ball handlers and scorers, but I think they're having a hard time kind of gelling between the three of them when they should shoot and when they should pass.
There's some nifty passing as Moster, the heads-up play to give it back to Zaria Chevrolet. We're going to have another timeout. I believe North's going to call this one. So with 6:29 to go, 27-12. Tartan leads, and with that timeout, Corey, I think we're going to take a look at some upcoming schedules as the regular season set to wrap up here pretty quick.
Yeah, North finishes off at home against Hill Murray Mahtomedi, and they take one road trip down there and play the Packers in South St. Paul.
Yeah, that Mahtomedi team very good on top of this Metro East Conference, as we saw when we took a look at the standings. They should be a factor, possibly a state tournament team, so that'll be a tough test for the Polars. And Tartan, they've got a few more on the schedule.
Yeah, they do. They've got St. Thomas Academy and Hill Murray, South St. Paul, Mahtomedi, you know, that you talked about. And that South St. Paul game for North, you know, South St. Paul's 1-9 in the conference, so that might be a game that North could build some confidence going into the sections. But the way Tartan's playing here this evening, they look like they're, you know, a few games here to, you know, build some momentum going in.
And that first game between North and South St. Paul, just a 7-point loss for the Polars. Something they could easily correct. And then Tartan, they got a big one against Mahtomedi, a team they only lost to by 10. Matamina, as I mentioned, very good team. Got Emma Grouthouse, who recently set the school scoring record over there. And I think the issue with Tartan in that matchup is Grouthouse goes about 6'3". I'm not sure if anybody on this Tartan squad can match that height. But this Tartan Titans team, they play in a good conference, a good section. They can win, they can surprise some teams with the talent that they have.
No, absolutely. I mean, 3 quality, ball handling guards there with that they have that we were just talking about right before that timeout. I think they're just gelling and learning how to play together. Like I said, they're still young and they still have the rest of this regular season, a section playoff run, and 2 full seasons to go. So I mean, they're still developing as a team.
Yeah, it's a type of team where even if they knock off one team and get an extra game in postseason, that's big as you look towards the future. And yeah, I think as you mentioned, maybe one of the only things to get in their way is inexperience, as they're talented, but they are a little bit young.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that they're gelling with a new coach and Coach Burgess there.
Yeah, Tim Ober stepping away after a few good years here at Tartan, kind of turning things around. We had a foul there. I believe that was Molly Zhang's number 1 getting called for that. Aurora Roberts heads to the free throw line just long on the first attempt. Aurora Roberts, another one of these sophomores on this team who's contributed already with 1 full varsity season under her belt.
Yeah,
Roberts nothing but net on the second. Sorry, Corey.
No, I was going to say the sky's the limit for this Tartan team. It's going to be fun to watch them grow and develop here over the next couple seasons.
Kirkwood leading a teammate into some trouble. Turnover and a quick foul.
North foul, number 25, Haley Hogan. Nevaeh Meister shoots 2.
So Nevaeh Mosher at the line. She makes the first.
Yeah, you come into the season, and you look down the stats, and you've got Cummings averaging 11.5 points a game, and you've got Chevrolet averaging 15 points a game. You kind of forget about Mosher here, kind of the 4th person, but very talented ball handler and a very good scorer as well.
Zaria Chevrolet showing off some of her skills there, picking the pocket of the ball carrier and getting to the free throw line. So another foul. North up to 5 team fouls now with 5:50 left to go here in the first half. Chevrolet, great rotation on that free throw shot, gets it to go. And we said Tartan started this one off up 11-2. North able to get it down to 13-10, but another good run from Tartan has got it to 30-12 now. So what was a 13-10 game, now a 30-12 game.
And I'll tell you what, it might be tough for, I don't think there might be much looking back here from Tartan with just the, talented scorers they have and kind of the burst they've had since that game got tight there early in the first half.
Kick out to Aurora Roberts. That goes off, but Chevrolet there for the rebound. Nice little drop pass underneath. The ball's battled for. It'll go to North St. Paul. Madeline Sloan looking to inbound. She's going to go long here, trying to find Kelly McCain. They connect, but hands in again from the Tartan defense as Chevrolet gets it away. McKinney looks inside to Roberts. Roberts going up for the right-handed lane, gets fouled. That one's going to go against Kirkwood in white.
Yeah, unless they talked about something in the timeout or try to sneak one past here, Tartan, down 18 points. I don't think cross the court inbound passes are a great idea at this point to get some momentum going.
Roberts hit the first. Yeah, good idea. Just didn't have enough of a step, I don't think, there, as you saw Chevrolet able to use some of that recovery speed and the quick hands to knock the ball away. North has been struggling to get the ball inbounds here on this full court press. Madeline Sloan quickly gives it back to McCain. Kane gives it back to Sloan. Sloan now is going to spot up for the 3 off the backboard and rim. Chevrolet trying to track it down, but it'll go out of bounds and stay with the Polars.
Yeah, that was a good look by Sloan. She had an open look, but she's got to remember too that you're not going to get all 18 points back in one bucket. You got to do what kind of got you close, and that's working the ball around and taking smart, high percentage shots.
In a game like this, I'm sure Madeline Sloan's going to want to knock those down. The leading scorer on this team at just under 10 a game, and a senior captain as well. Chevrolet coming up with numbers. McCain gets back, keeps it in bounds, goes right back to Chevrolet, who kicks it out.
That was a interesting situation there where Chevrolet was trying to be a team player and not a score first type player, but that passing thing was never there. She drove it in, and really she could have just spotted up and took that little 15-foot jump shot and would have had a better chance in trying to, force the ball into where it didn't, there was no room to go.
A clean block, and the ball will stay. Kirkwood in the corner. Tries to dribble out of it, nearly goes out of bounds, still trying to dribble in the corner. Still with it. Kirkwood, great determination, eventually finds an open player. Pfefferly on the baseline, and I'm not sure how it happened, but North able to get 2 right there.
Yeah, great job by Kirkwood finding the open player. Instead of driving and forcing something that wasn't there, kicked it out for the easy bucket to Pfefferly.
Tartan able to get an easy 2 on the other end. What a drop step from Zaria Chevrolet to get an easy look at the basket. Kirkwood unable to get it clean once again. Now it's taken away by Mosher. Mosher up ahead. Another lay-in for Tartan. And the lead is now 22. Full court pressure continues. Kirkwood lays in a big screen on Gabby Hicks. I think Hicks was looking for a little communication on that one.
I think it's tough for a team like this. North. You 3-19 on the season. It's been a long season, obviously, with more down times and up times. And you're sitting here and you battle back, and now you find yourself down 20 points in the half here, trying to salvage something going in. It just comes back to the same thing. Don't force anything. Stay within yourself. Keep playing, what got you close, and that's just smart possession. Utilize that energy on the defensive end, and like I said, don't value each offensive possession.
It's definitely something you got to credit these athletes with sticking with it. You know what I mean? From a coach's perspective, it's always something it's so difficult to keep the players engaged, to get them up for a game where maybe it's not going to end up being a result that you might want, to keep them engaged, keep them into it, keep them working hard to the final whistle. It's definitely a credit to Coach Antle and these Polar players, as maybe it hasn't been the season they would have liked in terms of wins and losses.
Right now what I think it is, there's no shortage of effort from these ladies right now, but it's just, you got to limit the mistakes. And right now they're just, turning the ball over, and, like you said, you just got to slow it down. You're not going to get all 20 points back here in a couple of possessions, and just, little battles, minute by minute, and those are what can keep you motivated.
Tartan works it around the perimeter. Mosher throws up an air ball, but it falls kindly to Angelina Mims, who puts it right back up. Mosher now pokes it away. And I think the difficulty for North is they haven't been able to pass too successfully out of the press, and they're not going to be able to dribble out of it. So Pfefferly tries for the quick pass.
Well, I think situations like that, the last 2 turnovers, there's just too much space in between their passes. Obviously, if you know, if they're intercepting a lot of passes, shorten them up. You know, if it takes you, 2 to 3 extra passes just to get the ball across court, that's what you need to do to limit the turnovers.
Kirkwood kick to Pfefferly. That doesn't go. Rebound out to Mosher, who gets it up to Hicks. And I think Coach Burgess is going to call a timeout with 2:07 left to go in the first half. With that timeout, we will take a little time to tell you about some of the upcoming broadcasts we got here on SEC. Well, we got one courtesy right off the bat. Got one courtesy of CTV. That is boys hockey, Roseville versus Matamidi. And that Matamidi hockey team is a pretty good team as well this winter.
Yeah, Matamidi is having a great year in Class A, and Roseville's always a competitive team, with a great program.
Then we'll do a little bit girls basketball a week from today. White Bear versus Roseville, which has been a nice rivalry the past few seasons. And then I know you're looking forward to this, Corey. Coming up a week after that on 27-28th, got that Section 4 2A semifinals, and that's a fun section tournament right there.
Oh, it's always one of the best, and this particular year, Hill Murray's down from what they have been the last few years, and White Bear Lake is actually, one of the top 10 teams in the state for AA. So, as it looks this year, it might be White Bear's section to lose, but as we've seen for years, anything can happen. Stillwater's a dark horse out of there, and Tartan and North both have had, really successful seasons this year, so they could surprise some folks as well.
Absolutely. I know everybody here at SEC is rooting for White Bear Lake and that upcoming hockey section tournament. A lot of pressure going to be on those boys, but I think they're going to be able to get it done. They've been playing real well against that section all season long. Yeah,
it's just always been that funny thing. It doesn't matter how good or bad those Pioneers are. They just have always had White Bear's number, but talent-wise, on paper, it should be White Bear's year.
Yeah, they got a pretty good coach over there and a pretty good history as well. Well, that's not for a couple weeks. There's another three-pointer knocked down by Tartan. Now Zaria Chevrolet with the takeaway. She'll lay it in. And Tartan is up to 45-14.
Yeah, that puts Chevrolet in double digits here coming off the bench. That matches Katia Cummins with 11, both players in double figures here in the first half.
Takeaway again, blocked by Kirkwood, follow up by Chevrolet. And I was wondering if she might be able to get up to that scoring average for the season starting out on the bench, but it seems like she's rocketing up to that 19 points per game number here pretty quick. Another one thrown away by North. It's Gabby Hicks is going to bring it up. She'll kick it to Mosher. Mosher's going to let it fly. That goes off the other side. Rebound to Kelly McCain.
Yeah, sometimes, kind of looking at benefits, for a coach like Burgess to be able to, play some of his younger players here in a blowout situation, but his leaders are younger players. So, it'll be kind of interesting to see what he does with his bench here, going into the second half.
Boy, head coach of the North boys basketball team, Damian Johnson, might want to take a look at this Tartan defensive effort here in the girls game. They are playing some pretty dang good defense. A lot of turnovers here in the first half. Winding down to 30 seconds to go in the opening frame. McCain long on the baseline jumper, now up ahead. Tartan looking to get another bucket in transition. Layup won't go. Rebound to Kirkwood. And she'll turn and run. Kirkwood with nobody with her, takes it all the way. That one somehow doesn't go. Jump shot in transition, that rebounded by Kirkwood. And she'll just run out the time on the clock. That'll do it for the opening half. And the home Tartan Titans started big. 49-14 is the lead. As we start off the first of two games we got here on SEC Sports. Got the girls to start, and then the boys after this one, North and Tartan. The 622 district rivalry. Great times here. Sam Erickson alongside Corey Franzmeyer. What do you think of that first half of our first game?
Well, the first half, Tartan was able to jump out to that big lead, 11-2, and I think, we were both probably witnessing, just the more talented team is just jumping out front. And then North, scrapped back and made it a ball game with about halfway through, and then Tartan just put on the Jets, with Yazre Chevrolet, coming off the bench with 13 points, and Katia Cummings with 11. And Nevaeh Moster was just, those three players were just too much, athletically and ball handling wise, for North to stop. And that's, not even, adding in Gabby Hicks and some other players. I mean, this team just is too athletic and too talented, for this North team, as we speak now. But, like I said, North has, played hard, and, they haven't quit. And, that's just hats off to the coaching staff.
All right, well, with that, we'll take you to some highlights from the first half. And that included Katia Cummings knocking down a few big shots to give Tartan the lead.
Yeah, that was their first three-pointer of the game. And, really out of the gates, it was all Katia Cummings for the first part of the game. She was shooting early and often, and she was draining everything. And, that's where the 11 I would almost say, she had 11 points before Chevrolet got in the game, and then she took over and kind of led the team from there.
Yeah, it almost seemed by design that they had Katia Cummings shooting a lot of the initial shots. Maybe been struggling to shoot as of late. Coach Burgess wanted to see her knock a couple down. We'll see. There's a look at some of our leading scorers.
Yeah, as you can see, Chevrolet 13 points off the bench. Cummings with 11. Gabby Hicks with 6, and Angelina Mims knocked in 5 there, and that was just the last couple minutes of the first half. On the North St. Paul side there, Madeline Sloan averages 9 points a game, and she had some decent looks, but North St. Paul had a hard time, getting open shots against this just great defensive effort by the Tartan Titans.
Yeah, and it seemed like the scoring for Tartan and that defense really skyrocketed once Zaria Chevrolet came onto the court. We said this game was at 13-10 at one point. Then Chevrolet comes onto the court, normally a starter, normally playing a lot of minutes. It seemed like the team just got comfortable, felt more like their normal identity when she got on the court, and that's really when Tartan kind of opened things up. But Corey, I know you talked to the coaches before this one, so we'll do a couple of these interviews that we filmed before the game to fill some time here during half.
All right, I'm here with North St. Paul head coach Scott Antle. How's it going this evening, sir?
Going well, yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad. I'm real excited for this big, district matchup here tonight. How does your team fare against Tartan here this evening?
Well, we've had a long week of practice. We're excited for this game. We held with them for the first half, the first time we played them, but we're hoping things change around this time.
Experience-wise, how are your Polars this year? Is it a young team, up and coming, or is it kind of a senior-laden team?
It's a little of both. We start 3 seniors. We've lost a couple girls to injury, and so we're kind of balanced with the young girls not having much varsity experience, so they're learning on the fly. So,
how do you feel about the old Lady Polars here heading in to sections this particular year?
Well, it's my first year at North, so I come from a program that was big. Coming over to North, it's a whole different conference, getting to know teams, and the section-wise for us is extremely hard section. Right now we'll be paired up with Cretan, who Cretan right now is number 3 team in the state. So it's going to be a tough matchup, but we're ready to play them.
Well, I think if anything, it's definitely going to be a learning experience for the younger girls going in, building as your first-year coach and trying to build a nucleus and a foundation here. So I wish you best of luck this evening against Tartan, and take care.
Thank you, sir.
Back.
So that was first-year head coach of the Polars, Scott Antle, with a few words there. And that's a guy coming from some bigger programs. Sure, he knew he was inheriting a bit of a project here at North St. Paul, but definitely exciting to have him on board and hopefully be able to turn some things around here in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I think, he's real excited about, the future of this program and kind of, the younger players that he has coming up. The record shows 0-10 in the conference and 3-19 overall. But, he's seen a lot of good things from this group this year, and, they're really building for the future.
Absolutely. Good time to be involved with basketball at North High School, as the boys team has been doing so well as of late, including getting a new head coach and a familiar name for Minnesota Golden Gopher basketball fans. We got a new head coach on the girls' side for Tartan as well. So a couple first-year head coaches going at it here tonight.
Yeah, Coach Burgess inherited, a lot of talent here at Tartan, and it's been about a 500 season for them, but the talent is young. They're, a majority of them are sophomores, and the sky is really going to be the limit for this Titan program going forward.
Yeah, for sure. Coach Burgess inheriting a little bit of a different situation after Tim Ober left after last year. You talked to head coach Burgess before the matchup here tonight, so we'll take a look at that interview as well.
How's it going, Coach Burgess, this evening?
Good. It's going real good.
Good. How does your Lady Titans here fare against match up against the Polars here this evening?
The Polars is a really good team. If we don't play together and play hard, it's definitely going to be a tough one.
How would you say the kind of the highs and lows of your season have been so far this year?
Definitely the highs has been the team rallying around each other. Lows would probably be the buy-in process has been a little bit slow. Of course, I'm going to be a perfectionist, but definitely continuing to push them.
How would you see your girls going into sections? Like, are they ready? Is it kind of a younger group that's learning and it's going to be more of an experience thing, or you think they got a chance to maybe upset some folks and break some hearts this year?
We want to have a chance, but it's always a work in progress. It depends on how they want to play and each and every night. But it's definitely been enjoyable getting to know the girls and seeing them play as hard as they do.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, Coach, best of luck this evening against the crosstown rivals, and you take care and have a good night.
Get it.
All right, some wise words from head coach Justin Burgess of the Tartan Titans. Well, got a few more minutes here left with halftime, so we're going to get into a little segment we do on a program here on SEC called Sports Path. This is when we scour social media for some of your contributions. We call it the social media montage, so let's roll that right now. All right, to start this week's montage, we head over to the Matamini girls basketball Twitter page to see a tweet from December 2nd. That was a couple Saturdays ago. The Zephyrs took on De La Salle in a highly rated matchup. De La Salle upset the Zephyrs last season in the Section 4 3A tournament, and this year De La Salle started the season ranked #1 in the state. Well, the Zephyrs handed De La Salle their first loss of the season. They didn't just win a nail-biter like De La Salle's upset last year. They clobbered the Islanders 52-36, an impressive performance by the Zephyrs. So let's go, baby. Let's go.
Always gotta love the Zephyrs girls team. Well, next we head over to the White Bear Lake boys hockey page. Simple tweet here. Game over. Bears 3, Greyhounds 3. Brilliant night of hockey. A very humble tweet coming from the Bears, who just skated to a 3-3 tie with the #2 team in the state, Duluth East. Duluth East went up 3-0 in that first period, but the Bears battled back and ended up with 2 goals in the second and a game-tying goal in the third to keep their undefeated season. And as of today, their record is 2-0-1. The real question here, Sam, is can White Bear Lake take down Hill Murray Pioneers? We'll find out December 3rd, where we got that rivalry game from Aldrich Arena right here on SEC TV, and you'll be on the call, Sam.
That's right, John. Love the simplicity of that tweet. It's going to be a treat just a couple days before Christmas on the 23rd. I can't wait. And I guess that'll wrap up our short social media montage. All right, welcome back. Getting ready to start up the second half. It was a big first half for Tartan. As we take a look at some of those leading scorers, got our graphic a little switch there. So on the left side, we got the leading scorers from Tartan. On the right side, we got the leading scorers from North St. Paul.
As you can see, Azare Chevrolet leading the way with 13 points this evening, came off the bench. Katia Cummings was hot right off the bat there, and with 11, Gabby Hicks, and then Angelina Mims came off the bench and scored that 5 with a couple minutes left in the first half. But for the most part, Tartan's got 7 ladies on the score sheet, and they've done a great job of sharing the wealth, if you will.
Yeah, this game got down to 13-10, was as close as it got after that. It was quite a run from Tartan, 36-4 run to end that first half. And we get ready for half number 2. I think it's going to be business as usual for the Titans. And Zaria Chevrolet just going to start on the bench again here to start the second half. And for North, they're going to start it off with Nicole Anderson, Madeline Sloan, McCain, Pfefferly, and Molly Zangs, number 1 down low. Tartan plays it around the perimeter, now finds its way to Hicks. Hicks holds. Tia Cummings thought about it. McKinney, cross-court pass. Now over to Cummings. Three-pointer off the front iron. Rebound to Dejanay McKinney. She's fouled on the putback and will go to the free throw line.
Yeah, that was a nice offensive possession to come out of the locker room with Tartan. You know, obviously, you know, they learned from that first half that they can, you know, run them up and down the court there, and, you know, to come out and just kind of keep North on the heels and you know, pass the ball around, you know, and get some good feel for what they want to do here coming out of the second half. It was a good offensive possession.
So McKinney doesn't get the first one to go. And knocks down the second shot.
Gives the senior center 3 points on the game.
Double team to Madeline Sloan. She gets it out to Zangs. Zangs draws a double team. Now Pfefferly, good switch. Back up to Sloan. Sloan from way out. And she gets nothing but net. So the leading scorer for this North St. Paul team, Madeline Sloan, averaging 9.5 points per game, up to 7 now. Nearly intercepts the pass. Hicks gets to Katia Cummings. And Tartan will pass around the perimeter. That up off the iron. Nicole Anderson giving chase. And they're going to call Dejanay McKinney for the push on the smaller Anderson.
Yeah, I tell you, you know, with the lineup that Tartan has here, you know, right out of the gates here, with Cummings on the floor and Mosher and Chevrolet on the bench, it makes them one-dimensional when it comes to ball handlers. It's really, you know, Cummings either, you know, taking the shot or distributing, and you know, I think when you get the other two ladies in there, it really creates a ball movement, you know, fast break type offense.
Yeah, you could just see how much more in sync they were when Chevrolet was on the court. I think everyone just in positions that they're used to. I think kind of a smart choice here by Coach Burgess to see how his team fares without Chevrolet on the court, maybe get some girls into some positions that they don't normally play, kind of anticipating maybe some situations for foul trouble and things like that.
No, exactly. You know, I mean, you know, a lot of times if you don't experiment with different lineups and different, you know, sets, you don't know what you have, you know, when you're put in a spot, you know, when your back's against the wall.
Especially in those big games, a lot of times you see that happen where, you know, that X factor player you're relying on all of a sudden can't be in the game as much as you had hoped because of injury or foul trouble or whatnot. It's always good to be prepared. North St. Paul, good offensive possession working around. Sloan tried to knock down another three, that one off. And the rebound to Dejanay McKinney. Jump shot, that comes off the front iron. Rebound, Molly Zangs. McCain hits the jump shot to go.
That's her first basket of the evening, and it's her first points since the she started the scoring for the Polars this evening with a free throw to put them on the board.
So McCain back on the score sheet. Gets North St. Paul up to 19. Good start to the second half for the Polars.
You know, it's a lot of that, you know, they've slowed it down a little bit. You know, they've focused more of their energy on the defensive end, and then offensively just, you know, keep it smart and, you know, don't force anything.
Polars get the steal, work it around. McCain from the baseline again. She likes that area, doesn't get the shot to go, and Katia Cummings gets the rebound. And it looks like Coach Burgess is going to take a timeout. 14:40 left to go in the game. Well, we've mentioned throughout the broadcast, this is the first of two tonight here on SEC. Got the big one after this, as Tartan and North on the boys' side get together, and those two teams have some pretty impressive records.
Yeah, that's 1 and 2 in the Metro East Conference, with North St. Paul 10-0 in the conference, 17-3 overall. You know, and Tartan right behind them there at 8-3, a great 18-3 record overall. You know, and Tartan, a long-standing you know, power in this conference. I mean, they've established themselves as one of the better you know, high school basketball programs in the state over a long period of time.
You see North undefeated in the Metro East. Tartan, their only 3 losses on the season coming in the Metro East, including the loss to North in the first game. That loss was only by 4 points. And looking at the Tartan schedule, their 3 losses, they've only lost by combined 13 points. So that's a team that could be a couple plays away from an undefeated season. So we're going to have a heck of a matchup coming up after this one. Jump ball goes the way of the Polars. It's Tartan, the Tartan boys team lost Jordan Horn, one of the key members of the team the past few years. Guy who went to play Division I basketball at Siena in New York. But nice job by Tartan, kind of regrouping and being a strong team once again. You think sometimes when they lose a big player like that, we saw with Montemina, lost a big player from last year. Both teams able to kind of rebuild, regroup, and come into the season the next year and really compete. And for Tartan, I mean, they're really competing close to a conference championship, although the 3 losses hurt with North being perfect, but play very good basketball.
Yeah, and you know, when we were just chatting about you know, how long Tartan has, you know, been one of the better, you know, programs in the state. I mean, you know, it goes back to the mid to late 90s with a guy by the name of Jake Sullivan, and really put Tartan on the map here for high school basketball. And you know, over the last few decades, you know, they just keep recycling. You know, and that all goes to, you know, good youth programs and different things like that, where you just, you know, you establish yourself, you know, with coaches and you know, good community relations, and, you know, like I said, the kids just keep coming, you know, and that's how you build a good program.
Yeah, this has got to be an area that produces some great basketball. Talk about these two teams share a school district, and for two teams to be that good on the boys' side, they produce a lot of great basketball players in the youth ranks around here. Back to our current game, Tartan working the ball around with the big lead. 13:30 left to go. They'll be patient with it on offense. I think Coach Justin Burgess really trying to work through some things.
Yeah, I think it was one of those deals where in the first half, you know, he was shown that they can run. You know, they can play defense and they can trap and they can, you know, run up and down the court. But, you know, I think what he's trying to do is slow it down here, work on some half-court sets to really see what, you know, when they're in a tighter ball game, you know, how they do on just with a half-court offense.
Via Mosher able to poke it away again, but then drags the pivot foot and is called for the travel. Yeah, definitely. We saw in that last possession for Tartan, just crisp passing, working around. I think just focusing on that half-court passing, ball movement, creating offense that way, rather than the way that they're most accustomed to, which fits them honestly probably best, just running up and down the court, getting turnovers. But not a bad idea to have a few tricks in your bag.
Yeah, because you know, they're going to come across a team here in the sections, or even if they get lucky enough to, you know, make a state tournament appearance where, you know, they're just as athletic and they're just as, you know, skilled, and you know, those turnovers are going to be hard to come by, and you know, the speed is going to be matched.
We had a foul underneath. Ball will stay with the Polars. Looks like it was on Via Mosher, number 10, her second. And we'll have another foul, this one on Chevre, as Zangs was going up for the land. Ellie Zangs could be an interesting player for North St. Paul next year. Junior at 6 feet. She's done some nice things out here tonight. Can't get the first free throw to go.
Yeah, she's definitely got the height, and you know, just kind of, you know, you spend an off season, you know, working on some offensive skills, and you know, you've already got the, you know, the height, the natural ability there. Now it's just trying to work everything together.
But gets the second to go. We'll see what Tartan, what their approach is on offense here. Mosher with it at the top of the key. She'll work it around. Mosher goes into the lane, throws up, and rolls off the back iron and in. Tough shot from Nevaeh Mosher. Recently checked in for Tartan, number 12, sophomore Brianna Bell.
Yeah, this is a roster full of sophomores. I mean, 6 sophomores on this team, and you know, I think it's 4 of them get very extensive playing time. So I mean, Coach Burgess definitely has an opportunity to develop a core group here, and you know, really establish himself and this Tartan girls program as a team to watch for here over the next couple of years.
Chevrolet called for the foul there, her second. As a team accustomed to using some youth, I remember doing a game, I believe 2 years ago, talking with head coach Tim Ober. Tartan started an 8th grader, a 9th grader, 10th grader, 11th grader, and a 12th grader as their 5 starters. So mixing around the experience a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
That's something you see with this team as well. I mean, you got Gabby Hicks and Dejanay McKinney as seniors. They've logged a lot of minutes. McKirky is a junior. And then, as you mentioned, a lot of sophomores. Mosher, another one of those sophomores. She knocks down the three-pointer. And it's 58-20.
Yeah, and so far here, she's got the hot hand here in the second half with 6 points off the bench here in the second half.
Sloan dribbles into some trouble, but is able to regroup. Now she heads towards the basket. Good step and up and in. Madeline Sloan adds to her Polar team high.
You know, Madeline Sloan, the senior guard, is definitely giving everything she's got tonight. You know, she's got 9 points on the evening and leading the way for the Polars, and nothing to hang her, you know, head down about on her efforts here this evening.
All right, well, we got a quick timeout. With that, I want to remind you that we can't do what we do without the work of our volunteers. Of course, want to first of all thank them for their job tonight and for our upcoming game. But if you have any interest in helping us out with any of our broadcasts, running camera, doing some things behind the scenes, feel free to call the number you see on the screen or email Arlen at secctv.org. There's a few of our volunteers having a blast, as we always do. Couldn't do it without them. So if you have any interest, please give us a call, send an email, get involved. It's a good look at Richard. As we're in for a long night here. Wrapping up the first of 2 games here live on SCC. Tartan resetting on offense after the rebound. Mosher going to fire it up from way out. That hits off the right side of the rim, comes out. Chevrolet first to it. Tartan just using some clock now, working it around. Gets into Chevrolet at the high post. She gives up to Mosher from way out.
This whole possession here has been, you know, pass around and 3-point attempts. I understand the running down the clock, and I do like the, you know, pass around for the open shooter, but you know, the 3 attempts have been foolish 3-point shots. I I think the judgment there is a little suspect.
I think Coach Burgess probably wants them to be a little closer to the three-point line when those shots go up. Seen a lot of three-pointers, though, from this Tartan team. I wonder if maybe they've been struggling a little bit from the three-point line. Coach Burgess wanted to get them some in-game practice. Can't get anything on that possession after 2-3 offensive rebounds, a couple cracks at it. North able to take it away, no harm done. Here's Molly Zangs. Tries to hand it off to Sloan. Eventually ends up with number 14, who kicks it out to Kirkwood. Kirkwood lets it go, and the high arcer falls in.
Yeah, the sophomore guard, India Kirkwood, she's got 7 points on the evening, and she's done a fine job. You know, I mean, between her and Madeline Sloan, they're the key ball handlers for this Polar team. But she's done a good job of finding open shooters, and 7 points on the evening. She's done a fantastic job, and being a sophomore, the sky's the limit with her future as well.
Yeah, Kirkwood kind of like Sloan in that, sometimes when the ball gets disrupted, gets knocked away, they're able to hang with it, able to hang with some of the contact and keep the play going.
Yeah, definitely, even with Kirkwood and Sloan, definitely, a 2 or 3, where, they've got some ability to handle the ball, make some shots and different things like that. But I think the big thing that this North team is missing is a key ball handler that can, really run the offense and, handle the ball up the floor.
Chevrolet to the free throw line, gets a kind roll on the first. So that gets Zaria Chevrolet up to 15 points now. She's closing in on that season average of about 19. A couple new faces enter into the game for Tartan as we got number 32, Michaela Harris, checking in. Second free throw good as well. 60-24 lead now for Tartan. Kirkwood tries to hand to Sloan. Sloan able to rip it away and keep it with the Polars. Good drive and kick. Pfefferly gets the jump shot to go after Haley Hogan made some nice offense getting into the lane. Brianna Bell now back to Angelina Sims. Bell, Sims now. Sims kick. Michaela Harris on the drive, picks up the dribble and will reset the offense. Now Chevrolet, she'll take the screen to the left, kick over to Harris. Harris into the paint, jump shot. That'll get lodged on the rim. Jump ball, but possession arrow stays with Tartan.
Yeah, good to see the sophomore forward there. Brianna Bell gets some playing time here. Hasn't seen the floor much, but with that group of sophomores, as they become juniors, any experience that she gets going into the next season, along with those sophomores that log a lot of hours, is going to be beneficial to her and the old Lady Titans here.
I was wondering who was going to go get that ball. Let's take a look. See that happen every now and again. They treat that like a jump ball. Possession arrow was with Tartan, and so they will take it. Tartan keeps it. There's Brianna Bell. Bell to Sims. Now out to Chevrolet. Chevrolet being D'd up far off the line. Now drive on Pfefferly. She tries to drop the pass, but it goes out. Good defense from the Polars. We'll count down to about 5 minutes left to go here in our first game of a doubleheader. Girls and boys, Tartan and North, here from Tartan High School. It's the District 622 rivalry. Everett trying to work it back into Michaela Harris. Michaela Harris called for the travel. Dejane McKinney and Gabby Hicks check back in. Madeline Sloan on the drive. She draws contact, and I believe that'll be a shooting foul. Sloan with 9 points on the night. Good chance here to step it above the season average.
Yeah, North St. Paul's done a good job of knocking down free throws when they've given the opportunity, like Sloan just did there.
Sloan now the first polar into double figures. And India Kirkwood with 7. McKinney is lazily tries to just toss it in. No harm done as Tartan keeps the ball. Drive, short on the land. Rebound goes to Kelly McCain. India Kirkwood, good job keeping control of the ball. That'll be a foul, and that'll be free throws, as it is the 8th team foul. Tartan will do a 1-and-1 for India Kirkwood, so she's got 7 points. Looking to add to that here. Kirkwood's first off, and Brianna Bell tracks down the rebound for Tartan.
Yeah, she's got good rotation on that shot, which could use to get rid of a little bit of that arc in the, in the off season, workouts, that kind of deal like that. I think the percentage of the shot will get a little higher as that arc goes down a little bit.
Dejane McKinney driving to the lane. She'll draw contact and head to the free throw line. Dejane McKinney at the line, misses the first. She tries to add to her point total. 3 points on the night for number 35. One of the few seniors here for the Tartan squad. Second free throw good, as the Tartan lead opens up to 61-28. We're down to 2 minutes left to go in the ball game. Got the boys game coming up after this one, live here on SEC. Couple teams with great records going at it in that one. North 17-3, undefeated, 10-0 in the Metro East. Tartan 18-3 on the year. Another foul. About a minute and a half to go, and McCain will go to the free throw line. I think that one call on Brianna Bell. We will stay with you through the conclusion of this one. We'll have a couple between game things for you, as we're so happy you could join us for this doubleheader of basketball here on a Tuesday on SEC Sports. A minute now left to go in our first game. It was all Tartan. We thought it might be here in the first of our 2 games. This rivalry been a little mismatched as of late, but the boys have been very even the past couple years, and both teams playing such good basketball the past few seasons. It's been a real fun rivalry to cover. Madeline Sloan holding it now. Tries and passes. Nicole Anderson went back door. She kept it alive, but hit it right to Michaela Harris. And Tartan is off and running. Gabby Hicks at the top of the key now. Under 30 seconds to go. Hicks finds Bell. Wide open for three. Bell lets it go. Rattles home. And Brianna Bell gets on the score sheet. Under 10 seconds now. This will be the last possession of the game. See if North can get anything from it. Foul. And I think Madeline Sloan will go to the free throw line.
Foul, number 22. Isabella Define.
Sloan hits the first, now the second. It's up and good. Sloan steals the inbound, gonna let it go. And the horn sounds, so that'll do it for game number one. Tartan on top, 64-30. They take it. And the Titan girls continue to roll. A young team playing some good basketball. They're now 3 games above 500. So 64-30. Zaria Chevre not starting in this one, but did come off the bench to register a few points. She started both halves on the bench. I think possibly by design there from head coach Burgess. He wanted to see how the team would fare without her on the court. Looked like they did just fine. Got some contributions from some other players. Katia Cummings added quite a few points. As well as Dejanay McKinney, Aurora Roberts doing some things. On the side of North St. Paul, had some good contributions from Madeline Sloan and India Kirkwood, but it wasn't enough. As North St. Paul unable to get the win. We'll take a look at a few highlights from this one. Some good ball movement from Tartan, ending up in the hands of Angelina Sims right there. She knocked down the big three-pointer. There's Brianna Bell knocking down a three. A lot of three-pointers from Tartan in this one. I think something else they were working on. They did quite a job from beyond the arc to get the big W. Well, it's the first of 2 here tonight. Got a big one coming up after this. This is the matchup as the gym's starting to fill up. The boys go after the girls, as we just saw Tartan picking up the big win. The boys matchup coming after this one. We'll take a look at some of the stats here, some of the stats from our first game. We'll take a look at the leading scorers. Zaria Chevre wasn't quite able to get up to that 19 points per game average. We got 15. Katia Cummings with 11. Navia Mosher added 8, and Angelina Mims added 8 as well. Then for North St. Paul, you had Madeline Sloan with 13. Pfefferly with 6. Nicole Anderson and India Kirkwood each added 2. Madeline Sloan coming in averaging 9.5 points per game. Able to get 13 and help out that average. Good job by the senior captain. So there's a look at some of our leading scorers from the first game. So we're waiting for Corey Franzmeyer, and I think we got him. He's down with one of the players from the victorious Tartan Titans. He's there with Gabby Hicks. Take it away, Corey.
All right, I'm here with senior Tartan Titan here, Gabby Hicks. What would you say was the big key for victory here against the Polars here this evening?
I think our hard work in practice and our team building and like working as a team and just coming together is a big key.
You know, I think coming together is always kind of a great thing to see throughout a season. How do you think you ladies have come together here this season?
I think with the new coaching staff, it really like opened us up to an open mindset, and we really just like we're all open to like coming together and like working together and starting a fresh season.
Well, now that you guys have come together and have found some success here, how do you feel going into sections here your senior year?
I feel like we're going to do really well in sections. I have a lot of confidence in us, and we're going to work hard in practice and hopefully go far.
Well, hey, we're rooting for you here, and best of luck to you as the season winds down. Sam?
All right, Corey Franzmeyer with Gabby Hicks from the victorious Titans in game number 1. It was a final 64-30. We will take a break, and then we'll get into our pregame for game number 2 after this. Stay with us.
Mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's at 58 years old.
8 years into the disease was when all the light went out.
For me, it was heart-wrenching.
Looking into the eyes of somebody with Alzheimer's, sometimes you just don't see the person's soul is like gone.
And it takes a toll on everyone. I mean, it's a depressing disease to watch unfold before your eyes.
She actually thought those of us who were caring for her and who loved her most were her worst enemies.
More and more responsibilities fell on my shoulders.
This disease just ravages a family.
It changes your life.
The magnitude of it is indescribable. My mother taught me to be in the moment.
We have to live in the moment with them.
And I'm going to be with that person right now in this moment, wherever she is.
Now is the moment. If we work together, we can stop this epidemic.
Contact Bright Focus and learn more.
Maybe he's really focused.
Maybe he likes spinning the wheels.
Maybe he just loves trucks.
Preoccupation with objects is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today.
I remember the moment clearly.
I'll never forget that moment.
As long as I live.
I realized at that moment, when we first saw the damage, these people really needed us. And I was going to make a difference, right here in my community. Together with local responders, we cleared trees and collapsed walls. We had to get to the family trapped beneath. As a citizen soldier, I made a difference.
Be there for your community at NationalGuard.com.
When I have an asthma attack, I feel scared. Sometimes my parents have to take me to the hospital. I feel like a fish with no water.
You know how to react to their asthma attacks. Here's how to prevent them. Visit www.noattacks.org or call your doctor. Because even one attack is one too many.
Brush, brushy, brush, brushy, brush, brush your teeth. Every day and every night. Now it's your parents' turn. Here's what you gotta do. Let them have your toothbrush so that they can brushy brush your teeth. Reach out, you're almost done. 4, 3, 2, 1, that's it. Help your teeth stay healthy. Brushy brush with a grown-up every day.
Hey, I'm Anderson Cooper. As a parent, you want to make sure that your child...
I am here with Tartan Activities Director Brian Munter. How's it going this evening, sir? Hey, what's the atmosphere like? I mean, what's the excitement level when we get this doubleheader, North Tartan crosstown rival, district rival game going on here this evening?
Well, even with just the district rival, it's going to be a heated atmosphere. But about 3 years ago, I talked to Jed, and we decided to do these doubleheaders, which has been fantastic. The gym is full. We have lots of kids involved. We have bands from both Skyview and John Glenn joining our North and Tartan bands. The super fans doing things. There's a lot of involvement from all our kids. And obviously this should be a great game too with the boys, so that adds to the excitement. And on top of that, it's incoming week. You know, so that's some schools have snow days, but for us it's incoming because Tartan started in 1971 during the winter, and they had an incoming of the students from North because they were split schedule. And so ever since then, we've had an incoming week in February. And so tomorrow night's a big volleyball tournament with all the kids, and then you know we have hockey and we have all kinds of different activities going on this week. So it's a fun week.
No, I think it's a great thing. You know, the fact that 622 and they've been able to, you know, have such good programs. You know, whether it be hockey, basketball. I mean, I think the rivalry definitely is strong and well here between the two schools. Wouldn't you say that?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and it's a good rivalry. The kids know each other. You know, obviously they want to win, they want to beat each other, but it's in a good way. It's a good competitive thing. You know, and I really like the fact that we have two high schools in our district because it doubles the opportunities for kids. We're still allowed
to offer all the programming, and yet still put forth a pretty good product, you know, and have good programming, good teams. So it's fun. Yep, definitely to go against North.
Well, I appreciate it. I know you got a lot going on here this evening. I appreciate you taking the time and chatting with us for a few minutes, and why don't you enjoy the rest of the evening. We got a big matchup coming up.
We are, and we appreciate you coming out and covering it. It's you know, just giving these kids some exposure, and the work that you do. So thanks for being here.
All right, truck.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool.
To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
Hey, look, it's those guys.
What's up? What's happening today?
Let's hit those pearly whites, man.
Yeah! The boys, check it out. Stand up, do my cherish, go compare us.
Ooh, cute. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine. Hey girl, what's up? What's the name? What's good? What's up?
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Sir, go and step out of the vehicle for me.
Yes, sir. See ya, buddy. Today, Sean's got a hearing. We'll see how it goes. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? But now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org. Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
When I have an asthma attack, I feel scared. Sometimes my parents have to take me to the hospital. I feel like a fish with no water.
You know how to react to their asthma attacks. Here's how to prevent them. Visit www.noattacks.org or call your doctor. Because even one attack is one too many.
Hey, I'm Anderson Cooper. As a parent, you want to make sure that your child knows how to deal with bullying when they see it happening. And chances are they want to help, but they don't really know how. Well, teach them that the best thing to do is calmly walk away, find a teacher or other adult, and speak up. And do your part. Be that adult they can talk to and trust will listen. Join me to help stop bullying. Go to stopbullying.gov to find out more.
Mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's at 58 years old.
8 years into the disease was when all the light went out.
For me, it was heart-wrenching.
Looking into the eyes of somebody with Alzheimer's sometimes, you just don't see the person's soul is like gone.
And it takes a toll on everyone. I mean, it's a depressing disease to watch unfold before your eyes.
She actually thought those of us who were caring for her and who loved her most were her worst enemies.
More and more responsibilities fell on my shoulders.
This disease just ravages a family.
It changes your life.
The magnitude of it is indescribable. My mother taught me to be in the moment.
We have to live in the moment with them.
And I'm going to be with that person right now in this moment, wherever she is.
Now is the moment. If we work together, we can stop this epidemic.
Contact Bright Focus and learn more.
Listen. All it took was someone who would insist that I just try.
Suddenly, everything was turned around because they judge you.
You tell them, I don't need this. No one is going to understand.
Unless they've been through it, how can they?
Then one day you realize you feel so hopeless. I need help. I need help. You feel so hopeless. Then one day you realize,
Unless they've been through it, how can they understand?
I don't need this.
No one's going to judge you.
Suddenly everything was turned around because they insist that I just try.
All it took was someone who would just
Listen.
I'll be right back.
Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
Born here. How you doing this evening?
I'm well, thank you very much.
All right, I'll tell you what, the gym is a rockin' here this evening for this Crosstown rival. How are you feeling about tonight's game?
Well, hopefully we play well. Last time we played them, we played pretty well. They're a great team, so we got to be ready to go.
Yeah, it was a close matchup, that first one here, and you know, this one isn't going to decide the conference, but it definitely is going to create some good momentum for your team going into sections.
Yeah, we just hope to keep building. You know, you always want to be ready for section play, and every game that you play is kind of builds on top of each other to get yourself ready for that spot. So it's the key to the season. You know, you want to keep building for that.
Well, I tell you what, best of luck heading into sections. We're rooting for you at SEC TV, and good luck tonight, Coach.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, back up to you, Sam.
All right, thanks, Corey. That was Corey with head coach of the Tartan Titans, Mark Klingsporn, guy who's been here at Tartan for 26 years, a graduate of Tartan, so nice to have a legacy in the building. I think he understands what this rivalry means between these two schools that share the district. And with that, we're still awaiting the start of this one, the second of our two games. We're going to get into when we sat down with the head coach, first-year head coach of North St. Paul, Damian Johnson, on a show we do here on SEC Sports Bath. We sat down with him in a segment we like to call Coach's Corner. So let's roll that right now.
Hi everybody, welcome here inside the gym here at North High School. No, this is not the latest fashion statement in the wrap around my head. I did sustain a little cut last night, but that's neither here nor there. It's time for Coach's Corner. We're here this time on the basketball court, joined here today by Mr. Damian Johnson, new head coach here of North High School.
How you doing? How you doing?
Doing well. Could you tell us a little bit about your background and your experience here with basketball?
Yeah, so over the past few years, I've been playing basketball overseas, NBA Development League, coaching at Eden Prairie High School as an assistant coach for a while. And some might know I played at U of M, so I mean, the last about 10 years, I've been really busy where basketball has become more of a job than just a fun thing, but it's a job I enjoy, so.
So let's talk about the decision to get into coaching. What led you to go into that path?
I just love basketball, so I just didn't want to get away from it. So I'm not playing anymore, so coaching is the best way to stick to it.
So you mentioned that you went to Eden Prairie for a little bit of time. Now you're here in your first season as the head coach of North. When you accepted the offer in May, what led you to choose this program to be the basketball coach?
I applied to a few other positions, and I mean, when it came down to everything, when I got a chance to meet some of the kids and be around everyone, I thought this was a good fit for me. I mean, the guys kind of have my personality already, and they're starting to, you're starting to see it a little bit on the court where they're getting more and more comfortable with my system. So it was just great. It was a great opportunity for me, and I just saw, a sleeping giant that I'm ready to try to wake up.
As you mentioned, as we were just talking here, you've been a member of the University of Minnesota Golden Gopher basketball team from 2007 to 2010.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of lessons at the University of Minnesota do you take into your coaching style and how you train your players?
Well, yeah, Coach Smith, Tubby Smith, he taught me a lot. He was a lot different than me as a coach. He was a real hardcore and was tough. He was one of those old school type coaches, and I kind of took some of the things that he has, as far as focusing on making people better citizens, whereas, I'm really working with the kids on being better members of the school and just focusing on the academic and outside of basketball aspect. And that's stuff I'm really bringing over to North. And as far as defensively, he was a defensive coach, and I love defense, so I'm bringing some of his principles also here to North.
So following your graduation from the University of Minnesota, you went to the Southeastern Australian Basketball League. Talk about your experience over there in Australia.
Oh, Australia was great. I mean, it was great to see another culture. Just, I always thought I kind of had people tell me that Australian toilets flush differently and everything, so I kind of bought into that. But getting a chance to see everything for myself, it was great. I was kind of fearful of snakes and spiders because I watch Discovery Channel a lot, so the deadly animals, Australia's always on there. So it was just great to get a chance to experience everything they have and some of the, visit some of their sites.
So let's switch now from your experience on the basketball court to your players' experience. For those of us who haven't watched the North Polars play this year, describe your team's style of play. What do we see when we see the Polars?
We're a scrappy, up-tempo bunch. We try to push the pace, pick up, press a lot. We worked very hard in the offseason to get in great shape, get in great condition. So we're utilizing our team depth, and we're trying to play fast, press, and use all our advantages we have. We're a very athletic team.
A lot of talent on your team certainly so far. Who are some of the players who have stood out to you?
Good news, Capigo, he's been great. He's doing everything he has to. He's one of our leaders. He leads the team in scoring. He's actually making a good conscious effort to focus on other aspects of his game that was his weaknesses. I kind of challenge him on that every day. DeJuan Carter, he's been a surprise for me these past few weeks. He's just stepping it up each game. And Brendan Lakeford Johnson, he's like one of our heart and soul. He's the guy that's going to do all the small things. Him and Khalil Golden, they do all the little things that's going to get us over the edge. So those two guys with good news, DeJuan and Bryce Phillips, one of our team captains, those guys going to help us get to where we need to go. So we're a deep bunch. I sit here and list all my players because I think all of them bring something different to the team where they all are important pieces. So, it's great to have some of those guys really keep stepping their games up each week.
So your team has been ranked inside or around the top 10 in Class 4A in the state of Minnesota for a good portion of the year. How much does your coaching look into that rankings? Do the players talk about it? How does it affect their style of play?
I like using it as motivation because, beginning of the year we were outside the top 20, so I use that to kind of fuel them, let them know that, we're the underdogs. No one's looking at North basketball as the same way they look at Creighton or Hopkins. So it's time for us to try to get to that level and push each other each day to try to get to that level. Right now we're 10, but why be satisfied with 10 when you could be number 1?
Let's take a look back again at your playing career. Are there any moments either that you played in or that your players have played in so far that have really stuck with you as something to take with you on your road in basketball?
One of the moments that kind of helped me as a coach was beating Wisconsin at Wisconsin. We were down, I think 14 with 4 minutes to go, and we could have easily gave up and cave in, but we just kept fighting back, and we were at Wisconsin, which is impossible to win anyway. So we fought back, and we played against the refs, everything, and it helped us persevere. And here, we have times where the players think the refs are against them, and I let them know you can't buy into that, man. You got to fight no matter what. And it's been a helpful tool for me coaching, just letting them know that we got to stick to the game plan. We can't let nothing get to us, and we got to keep fighting no matter what's the score.
And the last question for you before we let you go. Any advice that you would have to an aspiring coach looking to get into this profession?
Believe in yourself, man. You always got to believe in yourself, trust what you're doing, but always be willing to be open to other people's perspectives. You know, now I have a system now I plan on running, but at the same time, I ask as many coaches as possible with their feedback, with some of the things they see we could get improve on, some of the stuff that they use each day. And I think it's been helping out a lot.
Awesome. Well, Coach, thanks for joining us, and best of luck the rest of the way to the Polars.
Yeah, thanks for the interview.
And from one former Gopher to another former Gopher in the studio, this is your home for North basketball here on SEC Sports.
All right, so that was North head coach Damian Johnson on Coach's Corner from our show Sports Path. That's something we do every first and third Wednesday live at 7 p.m. here on SEC Sports. So I want to thank Coach Johnson for joining us there again. As we are getting ready for game number 2, the gym has definitely filled up a little bit more in anticipation for this one. It's going to be game number 2, the boys, North and Tartan. We'll get ready to get it going after this. We're going to take a quick break.
Mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's at 58 years old.
8 years into the disease was when all the light went out.
For me, it was heart-wrenching.
Looking into the eyes of somebody with Alzheimer's, sometimes you just don't see the person's soul is like gone.
And it takes a toll on everyone. I mean, it's a depressing disease to watch unfold before your eyes.
She actually thought those of us who were caring for her and who loved her most were her worst enemies.
More and more responsibilities fell on my shoulders.
This disease just ravages a family.
It changes your life.
The magnitude of it is indescribable. My mother taught me to be in the moment.
We have to live in the moment with them.
And I'm going to be with that person right now in this moment, wherever she is.
Now is the moment. If we work together, we can stop this epidemic.
Contact Bright Focus and learn more.
Maybe he's really focused.
Maybe he likes spinning the wheels.
Maybe he just loves trucks.
Preoccupation with objects is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today.
I remember the moment clearly.
I'll never forget that moment.
As long as I live.
I realized at that moment, when we first saw the damage, these people really needed us. And I was going to make a difference, right here in my community. Together with local responders, we cleared trees and collapsed walls. We had to get to the family trapped beneath. As a citizen soldier, I made a difference.
Be there for your community at NationalGuard.com.
When I have an asthma attack, I feel scared. Sometimes my parents have to take me to the hospital. I feel like a fish with no water.
You know how to react to their asthma attacks. Here's how to prevent them. Visit www.noattacks.org or call your doctor. Because even one attack is one too many.
McHale who gets the catch. He's got Patrol. Howdy, everybody, and welcome inside the Tartan Gym as we're getting ready for some exciting basketball action right here on SEC Sports. The North St. Paul Polars are in town to take on the Tartan Titans. Sam Erickson sitting right alongside Corey Franzmeyer. You take a look at those records, Corey. We got a heck of a matchup coming up here.
Yeah, not only a couple good teams, great teams having great seasons, but a lot of energy in this gym tonight, and I'm getting ready for a real exciting ball game tonight.
Yeah, one of our storylines here is we've got a couple coaches kind of on different spectrums in their coaching career. First, we'll start with North St. Paul and Damian Johnson.
Yeah, Damian Johnson, as you can see the accolades there, a former U of M. Golden Gopher, and played some professional ball over in Australia. So he's got a lot of background in the professionals and playing for the U, and he definitely can teach these kids a lot of valuable lessons on the court.
And then on the other side, that's head coach Mark Klingsporn, kind of one of the community staples around here.
Yeah, absolutely. As you can see, a 1976 graduate of Tartan, 26 years been the head coach. So, he's just been a staple of this community for almost 3 decades. And, it's tough to, you can't really put into words, what that means to a program.
Yeah, that's a guy who's been doing it well for a long time. If you've ever been in this Tartan gymnasium, you see a couple jerseys hanging over there. So they've been doing it big for a while. We'll take a look at a couple highlights from the first time these two got together this season at North St. Paul. That was a 76-72 North St. Paul win.
Yeah, it was a great game right down to the wire. Close match up there with the 76-72 final. And, we were here last year for this matchup as well. And, it's just, over the last couple of years as North has gotten better, this rivalry's become great.
Yeah, always great when the two teams are playing such good basketball as they have been the past couple years. Take a look at those standings quick, and you see the familiar teams at the very top.
Yeah, North St. Paul 10-0, 17-3 overall, and right behind it there is Tartan. So this should be a battle here tonight, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it looks like conference crown all but wrapped up. For North, though, it'd be pretty special to run the table, and for Tartan, it'd be nice to get a win against a rival. Mentioned this Tartan team has 3 losses all in conference on the season, but not by a lot. It's only losing to North by 4. Kapigaloff on the first shot, and a rebound to Brady Hartman. Kick out to Antoine Kimmins. Excuse me, that's Andre Jenkins-Whitmore. Jenkins-Whitmore, the second leading scorer on this Tartan team, knocks it down, gets the scoring started.
Yeah, just a defensive breakdown there on North, and if he's hitting that open shot like that tonight, it could be a tough deal for the Polars tonight.
So Khalil Golden trying to make something off the dribble, gives it to Capigal. Capigal swings it out to Bryce Phillips. And Phillips doesn't use the screen from Marcus Sims. Now in the hands of number 1, Good News Capigal. He tries to make a pass. It somehow finds its way to Cochran, who misses, and rebound out to Tartan. There's Antoine Kimmins, kind of loses some control in air, able to stick with it. Good athleticism, but eventually comes out to the Polars, and they're off and running. And the lay-in with Khalil Golden will get North on the board.
Yeah, nice fast break. Good News had the numbers there with a little 3-on-2. He found the open man for the easy basket.
Joseph Kearney now. Jenkins-Whitmore off, rebound, last touched by Tartan.
Yeah, that's just a guy feeling good about his shot. He hits that open 3-pointer. That offensive possession there, that was not a wise shot. If he knocks it down, I'm the one that looks like a fool. But, a situation like that, work the ball around, and find the open guy.
So the 3 no good. North looking to go on top here. Good News. Fadeaway jumper off the back iron, rebound goes to Antoine Kimmins. Brady Hartman nearly lost the ball looking up. Now Kimmins, 3-pointer. Marcus Sims rising high, gets the rebound. Bryce Phillips, and he knocks it down.
Yeah, big shot by Bryce Phillips to get the first lead of the game for the Polars.
Three-pointer off to the left, rebound to Laquan Cochran of North St. Paul. Cochran, 6'4" senior. Good News into the lane, draws contact, and he'll go to the free throw line for the first time tonight.
Yeah, Good News. How about that? The last couple of years, watch him evolve has been a lot of fun to watch. Kind of him coming in onto the scene as a sophomore and really coming into his own last year. And now, they're conference champs, and he's just a leader on the floor.
It's a name fans of SCC Sports have known for a few years now. As I believe his freshman year, this North St. Paul team only won 6 games all year, and they've been pretty much 20 plus the past 3 years, with Good News getting varsity minutes. Missed the first free throw, gets the second freebie, and the Polars have a 3-point lead. Brady Hartman beyond the arc, looking for a pass. Now in the hands of Antoine Kimmons. Tartan really slowing things down here. Cut into the middle. And they're going to say he dribbled on the line. As Dante Aganwani turning the ball over.
Yeah, that's disappointing for the Titans to without ever getting a shot off on that opportunity. That was a real nice slow pace, and they really worked it around. They didn't force anything. They didn't do anything foolish, shot-wise, but then unfortunately stepped out of bounds there.
Good News taking the ball all the way. Getting a reaction from the crowd as he was ball handling. We'll see if they give him the bucket. They do. Bucket counts and the foul. You saw the whole bench and the crowd back there. Good News getting the last laugh on that play as he knocks down the bucket and gets the foul called.
Yeah, right before he took it to the hole on that drive there, I think the crowd wanted a double dribbler. I think they said he carried the ball there before he drove. That drive to the lane was clean, but before that was the reaction from the crowd that they wanted a double dribble.
So Capigal gets the roll on the free throw, completes a 3-point play, and it's a 9-3 game. North leading in the early going. Block shot, Agamwani with the follow. He makes it, gets fouled, and now he'll have a chance at a 3-point play.
Yeah, big basket there down low by Agamwani. Stays strong with that and got a chance at a 3-point play.
Agamwani, a 6'3" junior.
Yeah, looking at the roster of Tartan, it's kind of that fountain of youth that they always seem to find. I mean, it's, they've got some seniors on the team, but only 4 of them, and the rest of them, just a youthful team. It always seems like they have that few seniors leading the way, and then just a lot of talented youth, coming on up behind them.
Well, when you've been doing it as long and as well as Mark Klingsborn's been doing here at Tartan, not tough to attract some good talent over to your school to play some ball.
Yeah, I'm assuming you grew up in this school district and you play basketball your life. Until the last few years when Good News has come on the scene here, you're probably picking Tartan over North St. Paul.
A foul as Andre Jenkins Whitmore tripped trying to head to the basket. That'll be the second team foul. That's on Good News, his first. Kimmons pulls it back out. Brady Hartman now holds beyond the 3-point line. Back out to Kimmons. Kimmons dribbling against Laquan Cochran. Size mismatch. Cochran holds his own. Aganwani driving the lane, gets a nice roll, and gets the foul. We'll see if he can get the free throw here. Aganwani, a nice spark off the bench early for Tartan.
Yeah, nice drive to the rack there and stay strong and, able to put it down and got another chance here at a 3-point play. Averaging 7 points on the season here for Agamwane, and that puts him at 4. Missing that free throw would have gave him 5 and pretty close to his season average.
A couple missed free throws early. Tartan's trying to get back in this one. Good drive. Khalil Golden able to finish it off. It's 11-7. Kimmons with the ball, going against Good News. Big hop, but leaves it short. Rebound to Cochran, now out to Capigal. Capigal just trying to get into that paint like he loves to do. Now dish out to Marcus Sims. Sims thought he had some open space, steps on the line, and the ball goes back to the Titans.
You know, I think we're in a situation here, 5 minutes into the game, a little more than 5 minutes, 11-7, but, it's still that early deal where they're both kind of feeling each other out. No one's really, controlled any stretch of this game at all here, and, basketball is always a game of runs here, and I think this one's going to come down more than likely, whoever has, the hot hand at the end there.
Just going to say, I haven't seen a lot of three-pointers going yet. We'll see a fair share of them attempted. Miss from Kimmins leads to an opportunity the other way. Agamwani got a hand to it, but that was after it was on the way down. Goaltending will make it 13-7 North.
Oh, that was a great ball movement there by North. Quick little, stretch the floor and, like I said, 1-2 pass and find the open guy for the easy opportunity.
Kimmins is too hot for Jenkins. Whitmore, not sure if he was cutting inside a little bit. Threw it behind him. Kind of a careless forced turnover. Unforced, I should say, by Tartan. Khalil Golden dribbles and passes it off now to DeJuan Carter, newly into the game, number 5. Carter goes off the dribble, throws up a wild shot, rebound, loose, and finally collected by Khalil Golden. Golden with the kick to Titus Dean. Dean off the mark. And Jenkins Whitmore rips down the rebound.
Yeah, looks so far here. It looks like the old Tartan student section is a little more into the thing than the North. We'll see how that transpires throughout the game here.
Well, they got the home court advantage. Three-pointer short, rebound to DeJuan Carter. Carter's a player that can light it up from beyond the arc. Way beyond the arc. We saw him against Matamidi, and he had a couple NBA range. Can't get that one to go. Rebound to Hartman. Whitmore tried to dish to Agamwani, nearly lost it but got it back. Now throws down low, nearly lost again, thrown out of control, and that'll be a turnover.
Yeah, North St. Paul's playing some good low post defense here this evening. Even the buckets that Tartan has gotten down low, they've earned them.
And head coach Damian Johnson kind of showing the same energy that his defense is showing off here early on. A lot of energy. We'll take a look here at our QRF rankings in the state of Minnesota, kind of a quotient to tell us who our best teams are.
Yeah, there's our number 7 team, North St. Paul, there right in the top 10. Tartan's right there at 24 to crack the top 25, but a lot of good teams in there. Hopkins, perennial up top there. Cretin having a really great year this year as well.
And now a look, I think from a different source. Maybe not. There it is. We see Cretin-Derham Hall at the very top, and it's bad news for North St. Paul as those two share a section, but North St. Paul's sitting at 13. You never know.
Yeah, sitting at 13, 7 in the other one. Tartan right around where they were in the other ranking. But up top there, Hopkins and Cretin flip-flop in that Max Preps ranking.
Definitely see with all those schools listed there, the biggest in the metro area. So tough competition, but these two schools got some good numbers as well and some good basketball players. Khalil Golden drives the lane. Gets the reverse layup to go.
Yeah, Khalil Golden with the hot hand here so far. 8 points to lead all scorers so far in this game.
Jenkins, Whitmore. Joseph Kearney. Kearney now looking for something. Back with Whitmore. Whitmore to Kearney, cutting into the middle. Can't get the little baby hook to go. Rebound to Khalil Golden, who gives it to Good News Capigo. Capigo's going to pop the 3, and he hits the twine.
Yeah, that's just a man amongst boys right there. He just decided, I'm going to take this shot, drops it down, and obviously he's a featured player on this court tonight, and so far he hasn't disappointed.
Anybody else on the court? Coach maybe not like that shot selection, but Good News backs it up by knocking it down. There's Kearney from beyond the arc, can't get it to go. Offensive rebound for McKeel Weems for Tartan. Now finds its way out to Jenkins Whitmore, who gets a three-pointer to rattle home. And Tartan's able to answer the three by Good News.
Yeah, that was a great shot, just with a hand in his face. I mean, that's all just Billy. That was great defense by North. Just like I said, sometimes a shot just drops like that.
Khalil Golden off on the shot. Good News with the huge rejection at the rim on Antoine Kimmins. Out to Jenkins Whitmore, who jacks up the three, and the rebound comes down to Langford Johnson. Kimmins going to take it away. Tartan going up the other end. And Jenkins Whitmore with the easy lay-in.
Yeah, that gives Jenkins Whitmore 8 points to lead Tartan on the way here, and he's definitely had the hot hand early for the Titans from Tartan.
Yeah, the second leading scorer on this team got 8 of the team's first 12 points. They trail 6. About 8.5 minutes left to go in the first half. Take by Titus Dean. He gets fouled and will go to the free throw line.
A couple keys here so far, from what I'm seeing is I think North St. Paul's played great defense. I think Tartan's had a hard time getting easy open looks, and I think that's one of the the keys so far to the pace of play. And another thing is the fact that the leading scorer, Antoine Kimmins for Tartan, averaging 20 a game, has yet to get on the score sheet with 8 minutes left in the first half. So, if he gets something going, that sounds trouble for North. But if he doesn't get something going, they're going to need to find some scoring from somewhere else.
Yeah, he's going to come out of the game. And, well, actually, he will not come out of the game. Jenkins Whitmore going to take a seat, but more importantly, over on the North St. Paul side, Good News Capigo getting something checked out. He is out of the game, and he's been D'ing up Antoine Kimmins. I think one of the reasons that he's maybe been shut out so far, as Good News got a little bit of height on Kimmins as well.
And that could have been a situation there by Coach Klingsborn there, seeing Good News head out of the game, and he decides to keep his star in instead of giving the rest to create a mismatch.
And Kimmins able to kick into the corner. So that ball's coughed up by Kenton Miller. Now DeJuan Carter hands to Langford Johnson, who gives the three a try and knocks it down. North St. Paul starting to catch fire from beyond the arc. They've opened it up to a 23-12 game, even with Good News off the floor.
Yeah, and looking at the roster for North, comparable, as we just talked about Tartan with having the fountain of youth, this is a very senior-laden team. So, they're going to have a little work to rebuild after this particular senior group takes off. But they're not really thinking about next year yet because of the 10-0 conference record, and they got high hopes for possibly winning the state championship.
Kimmins driving into the lane, tries to switch hands over to the right, can't get it to go. And I think Marcus Sims able to collect it for North St. Paul. Good fake from Carter, then gives it up to Dean. But Joseph Kearney on the foul gets the block. Now Antoine Kimmins fouled as he goes hard to the rack.
Gets the opportunity here to get on the score sheet with a couple free throws. Good hard drive to the rack and drew the foul.
Take a look at that block. Joseph Kearney following the play and getting in on Titus Dean. See Titus Dean there on the left side of the rim trying to go up with that right hand. We had a better chance if he switched it over to the left. Could have protected the ball with the body. So Dorian Singer, a freshman, gonna check in for Tartan now, number 23. Kimmins off on the second, but I think we had somebody enter into the lane early. We'll do it again. 23-13, 6:57 left to go in a first half that seemed to have flown by here so far. Kimmins can't get that one to go either after the lane violation. Bryce Phillips will bring it up. Phillips looking around, now drops down to Marcus Sims. Sims under the basket, fumbled with it. After Brady Hartman got a hand to it, no call, and Sims gets the easy lay-in. That's off the mark, chased down
by McKeel Weems. Kimmons getting in, tries to protect with the body, draws contact. We'll go back to the free throw line.
Yeah, it looks like Kimmons with a little bit of frustration there, but he's going to try getting going the hard way. Instead of, taking jump shots and trying to force things, he's just going to drive it to the rack and, put his body on the line just to get some momentum for himself and, try to get some offensive momentum going for himself. A guy who leads the team in scoring.
He wanted that ball right back to take the free throw. Good job drawing the contact from Sims, using the body. I thought Good News Kapika was still over on the North St. Paul sideline being worked on. That is another player over there, so something going on maybe with these Polars being a little tight here. Start off the game. Can't get a great look at who that is right now. It looks like it might be number 3, Khalil Golden.
Yeah, so the 2 leading scorers for the Polars have both gone, down with a little bit of possibly cramps or tightening up or something.
Yeah, number 23, Dylan Bateman, senior guard, has come into the game with those 2 out. Langford Johnson trying to make some moves here for North. Going to have to give it off to DeJuan Carter. North, even with their top 2 scorers out of the game, still with the 10-point lead at 25-15. DeJuan Carter throws up the running floater, miss. Langford Johnson miss on the rebound, and Brady Hartman pulls down the board. Tartan able to move it around. Kimmons going into the lane, but that's denied. Kimmons really wants to attack that basket. Maybe gave up a good look at three-pointer. They were working around the perimeter pretty nice.
He is, he's looking a little rattled, here in the first half, late in the first half. I think a lot of that comes down to when you're a guy who's averaging 20 a game and it's such a big game and it, getting you a little bit to, get going offensively. I think he's just, too much emotions in this type deal, and just calm down and do what you've been doing.
And he's going to draw another foul. He's drawing a lot of attention. I think to your point, he's got to realize that if 4 guys are going to converge on him inside the paint, that somebody else has got to be open. So now that he's going to draw that aggressive defense, maybe it's time to look for a pass, an additional pass, rather than just trying to take it through everybody himself.
Yeah, absolutely. A guy who's, part of a ball club who's 18-3 overall, and you're averaging 20 points a game, you got here somehow. And it wasn't by forcing things and getting overly emotional. It was about staying within yourself and, taking your opportunities when you got them, and then making sure you rely on your teammates when you're double teamed.
Definitely that team score that matters more than the individual score. You see that sometimes with Good News over the years too, and maybe some calls don't go his way, not having the best game in a big game. Sometimes the body language goes south a little bit, takes himself out of the game. When I'm sure his team, his coaches, all they want is for him to step up in those moments and just contribute as he can. So Antoine Kimmons, after being fouled on the 3, knocks down all 3 free throws as Bryce Phillips misses the layup. DeJuan Carter on the follow. I thought there might be a call at the rim there. Mark Klingsporn having some words for the official as he runs up the court.
Yeah, nice job by Carter there. The old hustle rebound tip in there by number 5 there to get on the score sheet.
Battle for the ball. Dylan Bateman able to front the guy he's D'ing up. McKeel Weems got a touch to it as he tried to keep it in bounds, but it'll go back to North St. Paul. 27-18. Just under 5 minutes to go here in the first half. The second game of 2 here on SCC Sports. Want to thank you for joining us. We got the District 622 rivalry, and it has not disappointed. DeJuan Carter trying to make some moves, spins into the lane, lets it go, and does his best. Andrew Wiggins as he knocks that one down. Keel Weems decides to take it in, drop to Brady Hartman. Hartman draws contact, but they're going to say before the shot. But that will be team foul number 7 on North St. Paul, so Hartman will go to the free throw line for a 1-and-1.
Yeah, that was great vision there by Keems. I mean, he had a nice look at an open jump shot top of the key, but he also had an open lane. He took it to the lane, it closed up, made the nice pass there to Hartman.
he drew the foul, and here we are. Klingsborn's still over there barking at the refs. He was angry about a no-call foul a couple possessions ago, and it's taken a little bit to get over that situation.
So both Cathedral and Khalil Golden have returned into the game after getting looked at on the sideline. Hartman able to knock down the first of the 1-and-1.
As you can see, drives, finds the open guy. Hartman draws the foul and gets an opportunity on the charity stripe here.
Now Hartman took a knee to the back there. Able to convert both from the line. Make it 29-20. Bryce Phillips gets to Bateman. Bateman, kind of a three-point specialist, lets it go. And the rebound to Jenkins Whitmore. Antoine Kimmins going baseline, nothing there. Good defense from Bateman. Now Kimmins doubled, drops it to Brady Hartman. Hartman with it, thought about it. And he's gonna have to give it up. Antoine Kimmins somehow got close to the basket, found a window, got it up and in.
That was a situation where he drives the hole, and he's got a decent look there, and I think there was some open guys there, but right now he's just kind of got the weight of the world on his shoulders, and he's just trying to keep this ball game on his own.
Juan Carter, we said he likes to shoot him from way outside, and can't get that one to fall. Tartan now with another chance to put some points on the board. Kimmins short on the three. Carter with the rebound. And I think we're gonna have a technical.
Yeah, I was telling you about the couple possessions ago, Klingsborn in the ref's ear there, and he must not have been able to let that go yet, and he just got teed up.
At the line, shooting the free throws for North, number 5, Juan Carter.
I'm not sure how much that's gonna do to cool the situation, as Klingsborn is probably not too happy with that tee up. Juan Carter gonna get a couple freebies at the line though, knocks down the first and the second. To make it 31-22, 3:20 to go, first half.
We'll see how his team responds to that technical. Sometimes a coach or a manager or something like that, they're defending their players, and a lot of times the team responds to those kinds of deals. So we'll see what the Titans do with that technical foul.
Makeel Weems, good pressure defense on Good News. Looks like Makeel Weems might just stick to Good News for the rest of the game. Now Kimmins with a chance on the fast break, blocked, but it'll stay with Tartan.
As you can see, Kimmins driving in.
I think Kimmins maybe had a case. It looked like Khalil Golden, a little contact before the shot went up.
And that could be a lot of the frustrations here with the coach Klingsborn there. He's got his hands on his head there in frustration, and could be a lot of what Kimmins' frustration has been in this first half, as he feels like he's not getting his fair shake on the calls.
You mentioned, Kimmins averages a lot of points for this Tartan team. The way he plays probably heads to the free throw line quite a bit, so maybe not getting some of the calls that he's accustomed to getting. Whitmore thought about the three, decides to pull it down. Now it's back out with Kimmins. We're down to 2:40 to go here in the first half. Kimmins spinning into traffic, gets it off, foul. And this is against Khalil Golden.
North foul number 1.
On the Tartan offensive end, it's been a very physical game. A lot of North St. Paul's scoring opportunities have been good. Nice jumpers, nice ball movement, but I feel like Tartan, the 22 points they've gotten so far this evening, they've earned each and every one of them.
North has made it very difficult, knowing head coach Damian Johnson was a defensive guy as a player. Sure, he brings that into his coaching, and you can see the intensity and energy on defense from North. That foul was against Good News Cathedral, and he's going to have to come out. I'd like to see a replay of that. Not sure if he was too involved in that last play that sent Kimmins to the line. And you can tell, but Good News not reacting to that call very well. He's going to have to take a seat. Bryce Phillips goes coast to coast and caps off the easy layup.
you know, from years past with this Polar team, this is my first look at them this year. You know, it was good news and maybe another couple options, maybe, but this year they're definitely distribute the ball a lot more. There's a lot more scoring options. I think the weight of all the, you know, all the world, if you will, is off. Good news is back, and he can distribute more. There's a lot more options, and I think this is why they've kind of gotten over that hump and, you know, contending for the conference championship.
So Hartman to the line. He'll sink that one. That one comes way off, and McKeel Weems able to get to it. Tartan will get another crack. Jenkins Whitmore steps into the three. Long rebound. DeJuan Carter had it. Bounced off a shoe. Goes to Bryce Phillips. Phillips takes it all the way. The runner doesn't go. And got a foul on the rebound.
North foul number 4, Bryce Phillips.
Now Bryce Phillips called for that foul. That was his first. That's going to be the 10th team foul, double bonus. Brady Hartman going to get another chance at the line. 3 of 4 for his 3 points tonight.
You know, we've got a 9-point game here, and you know, I tell you, the flow of the game has been a little surprising to me. You know, I thought that we were going to have this kind of, you know, track meet, you know, up and down the court, and it's really slowed down. And I think a lot of that has to do with, you know, Good News being on the bench, with you know, the tightness and the foul trouble. And I think the mentality has kind of been Kimmon's kind of taken over here this last few minutes, and kind of, you know, that slow down, grind it, take it to the rack type game.
Seen a lot of fouls on the north end as well. 10 team fouls, only 4 from Tartan. So that aggressive defense maybe a little over aggressive. Ball tapped around at the rim. Brady Hartman comes away with it. Kimmon's drive, this time he kicks. That's Joseph Kearney, can't get it to go. Rolls up, maybe should have been called out of bounds, but stays alive and with North. Bateman goes back to Phillips. Phillips looking to make something happen off the dribble. Now down into Cochran. Cochran, great no look to Khalil Golden.
I really enjoy watching North's ball movement. They're not a selfish team. They, you know, it seems like they're always waiting for the open guy. No one's forcing anything, and offensively and defensively, they've been pretty impressive tonight. And I think that's why they've been holding off and pretty much in control of this game with a 9-point lead against Tartan.
Brady Hartman shoots 2.
Another impressive no-look pass. This time is McKeel Weems getting it down to Brady Hartman, who draws yet another foul. This is the second on Bryce Phillips. Hartman back at the free throw line. Gets the roll. And I was just going to say, for a big man, shoots the free throw pretty good.
Yeah, he's been on the line 3 times. He's got all his points off free throws. He just got to 5 here. An opportunity to get a 6 points of the game here with this attempt from the charity stripe.
Slowly, these free throws are chipping into that North St. Paul lead. Now an 8-point game. Hartman looking to make it 7 points. There he does. 35-28. Just under a minute now. Juan Carter has it taken away by Jenkins Whitmore. Whitmore pulls it back to Kimmons. And it's a blocking foul. That's what I initially thought I saw. Thought he was going to call him with the charge there with the emphatic call, but I thought Cochran was probably moving a little bit. We'll take a look here.
Yeah, it all comes down to see if his feet are planted there.
Oh boy, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll take it back.
He could have got away with one there, but you know, I mean, that's kind of the nature of the beast. When you play that style of game, you're going to get some calls, and some calls are going to go against you. But I think if they would have called the charge, we might have lost the head coach from Tartan with another technical foul.
Yeah. Coach Klingsporn on the sitting on the bench a little bit more than he was earlier in the game after that tee.
His team's getting back into the game, so maybe a little less to be frustrated with. Kimmins knocks them both down, and it is a 5-point game all of a sudden.
Yeah, with those 2 free throws, that puts him in double figures. After that slow start we've been talking about, he's crept his way with 11 points here, and he leads the way for Tartan. And all scorers also.
Looks like North maybe holding for the last shot. 15 seconds in no hurry. Sure they'll take a good one if they get it. Titus Dean nearly traveled, kept the pivot foot. Now Golden back to DeJuan Carter. Carter pump fake, lets it go, and drops it in. Boy, that's maybe not how they teach you in the textbook, but DeJuan Carter able to drop it in. A high arcing 3 to end the half. Puts North back up 8, 38-30.
And that was big to suck the life or suck the air out of this crowd, because I mean, you know, they've North had held about a 8 to 10 point lead for most of the first half, and Tartan had finally chipped it down to 5, and then to have DeJuan Carter knock down that big 3 right near the buzzer to give him 9 points in the first half was key for momentum.
Yeah, he's a kid we saw knock him down a lot against Matamidi in a game we did a couple weeks ago. That one took some air out of the sails of Tartan fans too, because it didn't look like it would go. It was a tough shot, got it to go, and it's an 8-point game. Well, we had a feeling this might be the better of our 2 matchup here tonight, and so far hasn't disappointed. Great first half.
No, absolutely. I mean, still a lot of game here left, and I mean, obviously we got a whole second half, and it's a 8-point lead. But I think by watching North the last few years with Good News Kabibo and different things like that, I was expecting 15 points at the half or something crazy like that, and him just contribute. He's really, other than the first, 7-8 minutes of the first half, the last 10 he was been a non-factor. I mean, he's got 7 points. But it was Cahill or Khalil Golden early on for North, and then on the back end of that first half, it was DeJuan Carter.
Taking a look at a few of the 3-pointers from the first half. A lot of different players on those highlights too. So spreading around, I think that's going to be big in the second half. Who knocks down more 3-pointers? If somebody gets hot, we could have this game change on its head.
Yeah, you could kind of see the depth that we were talking about with scoring options. The fact that there's 6 different North players that have registered, on the score sheet, and North's only got 4.
There's a look at our leading scorers.
Yeah, Khalil Golden, as we were saying, kind of the front half of that first half with 10, and DeJuan Carter with 9, and he scored most of those the second half of the first half, if you will. And then, Tartan Antoine Kimmins started off slow, like we were talking about, and just kind of came on and decided, I'm going to drive the ball to the rack, and I'm just going to kind of take this game into my own hands and keep us into it.
Yeah, picked up a few of those points from the free throw line, and then Brady Hartman there was 7. I think picked up about 5 of his 7 points from the free throw line as well. So a little bit lopsided foul calls there in the first half. We'll see how that affects things in the second half, if that changes it at all, with North St. Paul on top, even though they had a lot of fouls called against them. All right, well, we still got some time here at half. We're going to stay with you, but we're going to cut to a segment from our show Sports Path that we do here on the first and third Wednesday of every month on SEC Sports. It's called Sports Path, and this is the segment called Coach's Corner. So take a look at Coach's Corner.
Hi everybody, welcome here inside the gym here at North High School. No, this is not the latest fashion statement in the wrap around my head. I did sustain a little cut last night, but that's neither here nor there. It's time for Coach's Corner. We're here this time on the basketball court, joined here today by Mr. Damian Johnson, new head coach here of North High School.
How you doing? How you doing?
Doing well. Could you tell us a little bit about your background and your experience here with basketball?
Yeah, so over the past few years I've been playing basketball overseas, NBA Development League, coaching at Eden Prairie High School as an assistant coach for a while. And some might know I played at U of M, so I mean, the last about 10 years I've been really busy where basketball has become more of a job than just a fun thing, but it's a job I enjoy. So.
So let's talk about the decision to get into coaching. What led you to go into that path?
I just love basketball, so I just didn't want to get away from it. So I'm not playing anymore, so coaching is the best way to stick to it.
So you mentioned that you went to Eden Prairie for a little bit of time. Now you're here in your first season as the head coach of North. When you accepted the offer in May, what led you to choose this program to be a basketball coach?
I applied to a few other positions, and I mean, when it came down to everything, when I got a chance to meet some of the kids and be around everyone, I thought this was a good fit for me. I mean, the guys kind of have my personality already, and they're starting to, you're starting to see it a little bit on the court where they're getting more and more comfortable in my system. So it was just great. It was a great opportunity for me, and I just saw, a sleeping giant that I'm ready to try to wake up.
As you mentioned, as we were just talking here, you've been a member of the University of Minnesota Golden Gopher basketball team from 2007 to 2010.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of lessons at the University of Minnesota do you take into your coaching style and how you train your players?
Well, yeah, Coach Smith, Tubby Smith, he taught me a lot. He was a lot different than me as a coach. He was a real hardcore and was tough. He was one of those old school type coaches, and I kind of took some of the things that he has, as far as focusing on making people better citizens, whereas, I'm really working with the kids on being better members of the school and just focusing on the academic and outside of basketball aspect. And that's stuff I'm really bringing over to North. And as far as defensively, he was a defensive coach, and I love defense, so I'm bringing some of his principles also here to North.
So following your graduation from the University of Minnesota, you went to the Southeastern Australian Basketball League. Talk about your experience over there in Australia.
Oh, Australia was great. I mean, it was great to see another culture. Just, I always thought I kind of had people tell me the Australian toilets flush differently and everything, so I kind of bought into that. But getting a chance to see everything for myself, it was great. I was kind of fearful of snakes and spiders because I watched Discovery Channel a lot, so the deadly animals, Australia's always on there. So it was just great to get a chance to experience everything they have and some of the, visit some of their sites.
So let's switch now from your experience on the basketball court to your players' experience. For those of us who haven't watched the North Polars play this year, describe your team's style of play. What do we see when we see the Polars?
We're a scrappy, up-tempo bunch. We try to push the pace, pick up, press a lot. We worked very hard in the offseason to get in great shape, get in great condition. So we're utilizing our team depth, and we try to play fast, press, and use all our advantages we have. We're a very athletic team.
A lot of talent on your team certainly so far. Who are some of the players who have stood out to you?
Good news, Capigo, he's been great. He's doing everything he has to. He's one of our leaders. He leads the team in scoring. He's actually making a good conscious effort to focus on other aspects of his game that was his weaknesses. I kind of challenge him on that every day. DeJuan Carter, he's been a surprise for me these past few weeks. He's just stepping it up each game. And Brendan Lakeford Johnson, he's like one of our heart and soul. He's the guy that's going to do all the small things. Him and Khalil Golden, they do all the little things that's going to get us over the edge. So those two guys with good news, DeJuan and Bryce Phillips, one of our team captains, those guys going to help us get to where we need to go. So we're a deep bunch. I sit here and list all my players because I think all of them bring something different to the team where they all are important pieces. So, it's great to have some of those guys really keep stepping their games up each week.
So your team has been ranked inside or around the top 10 in Class 4A in the state of Minnesota for a good portion of the year. How much does your coaching look into that ranking? Do the players talk about it? How does it affect their style of play?
I like using it as motivation because, beginning of the year we were outside the top 20, so I use that to kind of fuel them, let them know that, we're the underdogs. No one's looking at North basketball as the same way they look at Creighton or Hopkins. So it's time for us to try to get to that level and push each other each day to try to get to that level. Right now we're 10, but why be satisfied with 10 when you could be number 1?
Let's take a look back again at your playing career. Are there any moments either that you played in or that your players have played in so far that have really stuck with you as something to take with you on your road in basketball?
One of the moments that kind of helped me as a coach was beating Wisconsin at Wisconsin. We were down, I think 14 with 4 minutes to go, and we could have easily gave up and cave in, but we just kept fighting back, and we were at Wisconsin, which is impossible to win anyway. So we fought back, and we played against the refs, everything, and it helped us persevere. Here, we have times where the players think the refs are against them, and I let them know you can't buy into that, man. You got to fight no matter what, and it's been a helpful tool for me coaching, just letting them know that we got to stick to the game plan. We can't let nothing get to us, and we got to keep fighting no matter what's the score.
And the last question for you before we let you go. Any advice that you would have to an aspiring coach looking to get into this profession?
Believe in yourself, man. You always got to believe in yourself, trust what you're doing, but always be willing to be open to other people's perspectives. You know, now I have a system that I plan on running, but at the same time, I ask as many coaches as possible with their feedback, what some of the things they see we could get improve on, some of the stuff that they use each day. And I think it's been helping out a lot.
Awesome. Well, Coach, thanks for joining us, and best of luck the rest of the way to the Polars.
Yeah, thanks for the interview.
And from one former Gopher to another former Gopher in the studio, this is your home for North basketball here on SEC Sports.
All right, so that was head coach Damian Johnson on Coach's Corner from Sports Path, a little show we do here on the first and third Wednesday of every month right here on SEC, and that's live at 7 p.m. I want to thank Coach Johnson for joining us again for that interview. So we're getting ready for the half number 2. North St. Paul leading 38-30, but before we get to half number 2, I want to remind you that we couldn't do what we do without the work of our volunteers, and we always need volunteers. If you have any interest, feel free to call at 651-747-3821 or email Arlen at arlen@scctv.org. A couple of our volunteers having a good time up there, doing a great job as always. And I think Lisa's playing a little game with us there. She's not that short. How do you see out of that camera, Lisa? It's always a good time. Couldn't do it without the volunteers, and the more volunteers we have, realistically, we can do a lot better broadcast. So always love having people on board. So that first half got down to 5 points there towards the end, Corey. But then a big three-pointer at the very end for North St. Paul.
Yeah, big three-pointer by Dewan Carter right at the buzzer. And, it kind of took the momentum that Tartan was narrowing in on North's lead right before the half. So that's where we sit, 8 points and heading to the second half. And I'm sure we'll get our money's worth here.
All right, but quick, before we get to that second half, we'll take a look at some of those upcoming broadcasts. Got one on the 17th, courtesy of CTV. That is Roseville versus Mahtomedi in hockey. And one a week from today, White Bear Lake Roseville will be over at White Bear Lake for a girls basketball game. And then, of course, almost time for playoffs in all winter sports. But before that, we got to finish out the regular season and, more importantly, finish out this game right here as the second half has started with a bucket from Tartan, and that'll be good for the Titans as we start off here in the second half. Bryce Phillips now gets it inside. Laquan Cochran gives off to Marcus Sims, who tried to force it into the paint. Nearly had it taken away. Cochran pump fake now to Sims. Sims throws it up too long. Battle for the board comes down to Tartan. Kimmons trying to push it up. Kicks out to Kearney. Kearney three goes halfway down, comes out. Bryce Phillips on the board.
Yeah, he didn't get the old hometown bounce on that deal. That would have been the narrowest of leads that North has had since early on in this game.
That one went down so far, I almost called it good. Kick out to Cochran, too strong on the baseline jumper, but what a follow from number 10, Marcus Sims.
Yeah, good hard work and bucket there by number 10, Marcus Sims. Good offensive rebound, and never a doubt. And with the nice hard putback, it gives them 4 for the game.
So 40-32, back up to that 8-point lead for North. After both teams exchange buckets to start out the second half. Kimmons now slowing things down a little bit from what he did in the first half. Kimmons working it around again. Agamwani works to get open. Hartman thought about the three. Agamwani tries to get it into Kearney, knocked away.
Kimmins with the inbound, gets it out, gets it back, I should say. Three-pointer, too long. Bryce Phillips with the rebound.
Yeah, Antoine Kimmins just hasn't been able to get the. He just has not been able to hit the jumper yet. He's done a great job. You know, he's got 11 points on the game, but driving to the rack and, you know, hitting free throws. But he just hasn't been able to find a stroke yet from the outside.
Inbound into Cochran now with Sims. Sims drives, almost lost the ball, gets it back. Quick turn on the baby hook, and the rebound to Agamwani. Now Kimmins looking to get it up court. Somehow gets it over to that right hand, off the glass and in.
Yeah, he leads all scorers with 13. And that's without being able to find a nice jump shot yet this evening. That's just been hard, old lunch pail basketball right there that he's been able to score 13 on this evening.
Ball with Khalil Golden now. And we got a timeout, North St. Paul, early on here in the second half. With that timeout, folks, we'll remind you of Sports Bath right here on SEC TV. We've taken a look at a couple of our segments from Sports Bath throughout our broadcast here this evening. That's a show where we do a lot of standings, highlights of the games we cover here on SEC. It's first and third Wednesdays every month, live at 7 p.m. I'm one of the co-hosts. You see the highlights of this game. A lot of the interviews done by our Corey Franzmeyer here tonight, things like that. Get you caught up with all your Fab Four teams here on SEC.
Yeah, it's a good way to, you know, if you're unable to catch majority of the broadcast or, you know, even, you know, follow the teams in the newspaper or in person, you know, you just check in a couple times a month and you're all caught up with our Fab Four teams.
Yeah, we have been out to a lot of good games this winter, so a lot of good highlights on those programs. Taking a look at those leading scorers, Khalil Golden still topping it for North St. Paul, and no surprise to see Antoine Kimmins leading the way for Tartan.
Antoine Kimmins, I tell you what, if he gets that jumper going on late in this game, it'll be interesting to see if Tartan can kind of you know, jumpstart things and jump ahead of North, because you know, they've been kind of doing it a gritty. They've been staying in this game with a real gritty, you know, down low type style of basketball this evening.
Bit of a careless turnover there from Khalil Golden, so Tartan with another opportunity to get into this lead, down to 6 now for North St. Paul. Kimmins nearly losing the ball, collects now, set up the offense. Tartan's really made an emphasis on slowing things down here in the second half.
Yeah, I think they found most of their success.
Boy, that rattled home. Jenkins Whitmore able to get it to go. Thought that one maybe was going to come out.
That gives him 13 on the evening as well. And you know, like I was saying before, I mean, I think that's where they found their success, kind of, you know, closing in on the gap there in the first half, was when we slow it down, just kind of play half-court sets of basketball, you know, and just kind of slow it down, drag it out, grind it out. That's going to benefit us. Once we get out and run, these guys are a little more athletic than us, especially this evening.
Yeah, we saw a lot of the buckets for North St. Paul coming in transition in that first half. They've really struggled in this half-court set. In fact, past 2 possessions, just throwing the ball out of bounds. Tartan slowing it up again. Good news. Picked up Kimmins at the top. Looks like a little bit of zone defense in here for the Polars. Kimmins tries to drive to the middle, does, and somehow gets the running lane to go. So 40-39. Hot start for Tartan in the second half.
Yeah, 9-2 run here to start off the second half. It was an 8-point lead by North, and now that leads to 1.
Brendan Langford Johnson just take that wide open jump shot. He misses. And no box out on the far side, and an easy putback for Marcus Sims. Hartman doubled in the corner, gets it out. Kearney switched to Kimmins. Kimmins to Jenkins Whitmore. Whitmore decided to bring it in after thinking about the 3. Agamwani turns on the wild jump shot, and it'll go the other way.
Good pass from Bryce Phillips. Looked like he was just going to take that elbow jump shot. No look down low.
Yeah, Marcus Sims coming out here in the second half. 6 points out of the locker room. For a guy who averages 6.5 points a game, he's put most of those in here, here in the second half.
Bryce Phillips can't convert on the transition layup. That one rejected by Good News. He's had a couple highlight blocks here. No goaltending call. Hartman now stuffs the shot underneath the rim. And Tartan goes the other way. Kimmins draws the foul, gets the bucket to go. And the crowd gets into it.
Yeah, they had the numbers. They had the 3-on-1 there. And nice drive to the basket for the 2-and-1 opportunity here.
Not a ton of contact, but you saw the youngster Langford Johnson kind of drag that left hand across the forearm of Kimmins. Enough for the referees to notice and call the foul.
Yeah, as a defender there, that's a situation where you just gotta, when you're the one defender back, and there's 3 guys coming at you, the guy with the ball, just wrap him up. Don't give him the free basket. I mean, that was just, too late in the movement there to put the foul down on him when, now he created a 3-point play.
Yeah, in those situations, if you're going to foul, you better foul them so they don't get a shot off. Another foul, that one.
Foul is on Tartan's number 3, Dante, out of 1.
A little more avoidable, we should say.
Shooting 3 for North.
Yeah, no excuse on that. That's just a mental breakdown. The fact that you've got a 2-point game here, and 12 minutes to go, and you just blatantly foul a guy who's probably 4 or 5 feet outside the arc and shouldn't be taking that shot from that distance anyways.
Juan Carter knocking down the first free throw. Just saw some shots of head coach Mark Klingsporn being a little animated over on the sideline. I'm sure that foul doesn't help his mood too much. 45-42, DeJuan Carter hit that big 3-pointer at the end of the first half. Right now is the difference.
Tartan, number 1, McKeel Weems.
McKeel Weems will check back in for Tartan.
Carter shoots 1.
That rattles out. So only 1 of 3 for DeJuan Carter.
It does put him in double figures for the evening, though, with 10 points for the Polars.
He's going to D up Antoine Kimmins. Kimmins gets the pick from Hartman. Can't get the 3-pointer to go. Rebound to Good News Capigal, and that's a name we haven't heard a whole lot of in the second half. Carter nearly lost it. Finds Bryce Phillips, who knocks down the tray.
Yeah, Good News has been a non-factor in this game, really. A couple nice blocks on the defensive end, but offensively, it's they found it from numerous different places.
Really jumped the pass there. Hartman throws up the 3-pointer, nothing but net. And we got a timeout at 48-45 with 11:08 to go.
That puts Hartman in double figures as well with 10 points on the evening.
That was a big 3-pointer from the big man. Thought about passing it up, stepped into it, and knocked it down.
Yeah, 11 minutes left to go here. We haven't seen anything yet, I'll tell you that much, man.
Yeah, I got a lot of this game to go. We got a little bit of the regular season to go as well. Take a look at these teams' upcoming schedule.
Yeah, that'll be a tough matchup for North there against Matamidi. Hill Murray, South St. Paul, Sibley, but yeah, Matamidi, that'll be a big test for them heading into sections.
Yeah, and if North wins this one, circle that one, and that'll be kind of their biggest hurdle to get that undefeated conference season. And for Tartan on the other side, we've got 4 games before section tournament start.
Yeah, the key matchup there will be that road matchup against St. Thomas Academy. Always a good program there. St. Thomas, they're 8-3, same as Tartan on the season.
They've got, I think, one of the teams to defeat this Tartan team. Yeah, it was a 2-point game here at Tartan High School. St. Thomas won at 77-75 on January 16th. So we said, yeah, this Tartan team has lost 3 times in conference, but not by a big margin. Well, we knew it was going to be a big game coming into it.
district rivalry, but look at the crowd here on hand. Always a fun one to do, and the game has not disappointed.
Yeah, the Tartan fans, they've been on their feet in that student section since the beginning of the game, so they definitely have their Titans back this evening.
Yeah, if you don't think these Titan fans want to see this undefeated conference season come to an end for North St. Paul, you don't know this rivalry. Drive again. Hartman was there. I think got something to it, but it stays with North. Now ball tipping all over the place, and eventually Bryce Phillips comes away with it. Phillips dribbles to the left, into the lane, floating layup off the back iron, rebound, and the follow doesn't go by Titus Dean.
Great offensive rebound there by Titus Dean, looking to put his name on the score sheet here from the free throw line. Has not scored a point yet this evening. There's a couple opportunities here from the free throw line.
Tartan unable to get a defensive board there. They got it down to a one-possession game. Gave North a few more chances. And Titus Dean got himself to the free throw line where he's good on the first. Make it 49-45. Titus Dean good on number 2. It's a 5-point game. Just over 10 minutes left to go. Kimmons out to Hartman. Hartman pump fake, puts it on the floor, now gives it to Joseph Kearney. And the ball's back with Kimmons. Now Kimmons into the lane, kick. Kearney, three-pointer, off, rebound, Laquan Cochran. Now North heads the other way. Hartman got a hand in there, and it's gonna stay.
Substitutions for North, number 13.
Yeah, good transition here. Now, you know, that's good. The refs just let them play there. I think, you know, I don't think there was too much contact there. There was a lot of ball, and I think it was a good no call by the refs.
Yeah, we had 14 first half fouls, only 3 so far here in the second half.
Timeout, North.
And Damian Johnson's going to take a timeout.
Full timeout.
And a full timeout at that. We'll take a look at some of our upcoming broadcasts again with that timeout. We said we got one coming up here on February 17th. That's courtesy of CTV over there in Roseville, or covering Roseville and Matamidi.
Yeah, Matamidi is one of the teams we cover, Class A hockey, and they're the second best team right now in the rankings in the state of Minnesota behind Hermantown. So, you know, locally we've got something to look forward to here as we head into section playoffs for hockey.
And that section Matamidi is sitting in, I think they should be favored and should probably win it. So we might be looking at a Zephyr team in the state tournament come March, which should be pretty fun.
Absolutely.
Then we talked about in our last broadcast, but that boys Section 4 2A tournament, but we're going to be covering those semifinals on the 27th and the 28th.
Yeah, it's always good times. You know, we get, you know, White Bear Lake, who's one of the best AA teams in the state, and Tartan and North, their hockey teams respectively have both been pretty solid this season. You know, and they get an opportunity. It's a section that's been owned by Stillwater and Hill Murray the last few years, but we've got 3 teams locally that got an opportunity to be crowned champions.
Yeah, we so often talk about Stillwater, White Bear, and Hill Murray as kind of those teams in that section. Tartan actually knocked off White Bear last year in that section tournament, so Tartan a pretty good hockey team as well this past couple of years. Winter sports big here at Tartan. Good on the basketball court, good on the ice. And we got a foul. And an offensive foul at that. It goes against Antoine Kimmons. That is his first.
23, Dorian Singer.
There's a look. I think it was Khalil Golden maybe taking that charge there.
Ball back with North St. Paul. They've got the 5-point lead. Good cut from Cochran, can't get the ball. And Dorian Singer's going to bring it up. Singer, a freshman, getting a little taste of the District 622 rivalry. Singer also taking over that number 23 jersey. That was worn by Jordan Horn the past few seasons here at Tartan. Big shoes to fill.
Yeah, what a fine career that Jordan Horn have. You know, I mean, the handful of years been covering games, you know, here that Jordan Horn was always one of the top-notch players. Always worked hard, hard-working player, and always led by example.
He's been logging minutes at the next level as well. Always great to see when it's a local product. Kid who scored over 1,000 points on a career. We've got a few of those here at Tartan, though. As we talked about, Mark Klingspor been here for 26 years. And a lot of good players come through these walls.
Oh yeah, he's had a heck of a program. You know, we were talking about the fact that Tartan's had a great program in the state of Minnesota for, you know, over 20 years now, and obviously with Klingspor in there for 26. You know, he's been a big reason for starting it and maintaining it.
Tartan being very patient on offense. Eventually, Antoine Kimmons gets into a good spot and gets the contested layup to go.
That puts him at 20 for the evening there, and you know, that meets his season average, so he's right where he wants to be.
Hartman late to close out on Cochran, doesn't get it to go. DeJuan Carter rebound, dribbles it off the foot, and I think Langford Johnson called a timeout.
Timeout, North.
To get his team out of that situation. North's been using up some timeouts. That may be coming into effect late in this game. But with this timeout, we'll take a look at our leading scorers.
Yeah, you've got Antoine Kimmons there for Tartan with 17. Andre Jenkins Whitmore has 11. You know, Tartan's only got 4 guys. Those 4 guys there on the score sheet. North is spread around a lot more, and as you can see on the leading scorers for North, we do not have Good News Cabigo on there. He's got 7 points, and he had those early in the first half, so he's been pretty quiet here in the second half. There's Sam.
Yeah, been very quiet. Luckily for North, they still have the 3-point lead without much of a contribution from them. We're getting some help from DeJuan Carter, who started this game on the bench, as well as Khalil Golden. Khalil Golden, the second leading scorer for this North St. Paul team. Now, not quite the second leading scorer, excuse me. Khalil Golden coming in at 7.8 points per game. Pretty nice number there. Bryce Phillips at 10.7 as well. Haven't seen a lot of him in terms of scoring the basketball either.
Yeah, and Golden's buckets been mainly down low on you know, fast break transition baskets where he's been in the right place and the right pass has been made to him.
Marcus Sims, I think, tried to sneak on the court there without checking into the scorer's table. That was caught by the officiating crew. So DeJuan Carter, the man he was going to replace, has to stay out there. See how this affects what North wanted to do. Khalil Golden slipped right under the basket, but can't get the lay-in. A one possession game. Tartan with a chance to tie it here. Just over 7 minutes to go. Kent Miller into the corner, 3-pointer, and Dorian Singer showing off a little bit of the youth.
Yeah, absolutely. A 9th grader there, and you know, he's got a bright future ahead of him, but you know, he had a good look there, but in that situation, you know, maybe kick it back out to one of the more veteran players, a little more seasoned.
Phillips with it now, going against Kent Miller. Alley-oop to Good News Capeggio, but he can't get it. And Dante Agunwani pulls down the rebound. A well set up play, but execution not there. There's some execution. Kent Miller knocks down the 3-pointer, and we're tied up at 50.
Yeah, Tartan gets their 5th player on the score sheet there, and that's the senior Kent Miller, who hits the triple to tie this thing up.
So the senior showing the freshman how to do it on the very next possession. We got a foul here now.
Good news, Capillo at the line for North.
And as good news comes to the free throw line, that missed opportunity, that alley-oop, I think if he would have put that down, might have blown the roof off this building here. But instead, Tartan takes it back up and hits the three, and now we're 6.5 minutes left, 50-50.
I mean, not only would it have been a big momentum play, but I mean, we're talking about a 5-point swing because Tartan went down to the other end, hit that three. So big missed opportunity. Good news trying to make up for it here at the line, knocks down the first. He'll get another chance. Looked like he maybe got poked in the eye or hit in the eye a little bit.
Yeah, and as we come down here, and Good News attempts his second free throw and knocks it down, gives them the 2-point lead. A lot of times these close games come down to who can shoot the better free throws, as it narrows down to the end.
And Coach Klingsporn got teed up there in that first half. I believe DeJuan Carter knocked down both of those free throws. Right now, that is looking like your difference. But a lot of game left to go. So we're counting down to 6 minutes. There's Singer. That looked a lot better. Just off the front iron. Rebound to Marcus Sims. Good for the young Singer to be confident on that next three-point try. Khalil Golden, great spin move. And easy bucket.
Great take, and that's, a scenario where the freshman Singer, he took the three, it was a good look, almost dropped. And on the other end of the floor, you've got, Khalil Golden could have did the same thing, but instead reads it, and he's got an easier shot inside now and gives North St. Paul the 4-point lead. And I think that's just, a little more experience and, capitalizing on easier situations.
Golden able to put North St. Paul back up 4.
Back in the ballgame for Tartan, number 2, Andre Jenkins.
5:20 left to go. Feel like time has just been flying by on this game. Only 5 team fouls combined in this second half. 14 in the first. A dangerous pass from Kimmons. And the ref's going to say it touched a North player last. So Kimmons tried to force it in. Weems made the move, but good reaction from the Polar defense. Now Kimmons gets it in. He'll get it back again. Langford Johnson D'ing him up. This North team is a tough matchup for Antoine Kimmons. A lot of length on defense for North St. Paul. Kimmons a little bit shorter player.
Yeah, I mean, every bucket that he's put in tonight, he's got 20 points on the evening, and he's earned every one of them. They have not given him anything free, just like the one we just saw there, Sam.
I was going to say, just like that, this man came to work as he's getting all the tough baskets. 2-point game once again. I tell you what, this guy came to work as well. McKeel Weems, though, what a rejection. It's going to stay with the Polars. Boy, he hung right with Good News Capillo.
Yeah, I think Kimmons, he's been working so hard down low, driving to the basket. I bet you when he wakes up in the morning, he's going to feel this game a little bit. Body's going to be a little sore. I mean, physically, it's had to take a lot of him because, a lot of contact down low here this evening.
I'm getting sore just watching him. Nearly taken away. Langford Johnson throws up the 3, goes off to the other side, but the offensive board is tracked down by Khalil Golden. Another second chance opportunity for North St. Paul. See if they can capitalize. That comes off, but Bryce Phillips gets it. Now Brady Hartman tried to steal it away, and eventually it rolls kindly to Antoine Kimmons, but it still wasn't to safety. Now Tartan with a chance, and a huge three-pointer from Andre Jenkins Whitmore.
There it is, Tartan's first lead of the game. Big three-pointer by the guy who got all the scoring started here in the first half was Jenkins Whitmore.
55-54. Just under 4 minutes to go. Bryce Phillips with the take and one.
That was a great take there by the senior guard, Bryce Phillips. And just put just the right little juice on it, get that thing to spin in off the front of the rim.
Hey, things are getting hot over here. As Damian Johnson's going to call his team over, he saw some tempers starting to flare. Well, I think everybody's going to keep it cool for now.
And now we've got the Polar fans up on their feet on the visiting side, and the Tartan fans, the hometown team, on their side. This ought to be entertaining down the stretch here.
Phillips knocked down the lane, got the free throw opportunity after the foul, but can't hit that. And it's just a 1-point game. Now Marcus Sims over on the North St. Paul bench getting a bloody nose attended to. He's contributed a lot tonight. Jenkins Whitmore again, that's off the back iron, battle for the rebound, and it's gonna stay as they call it on the Polars.
Yeah, good call by the refs to see that. I mean, it was a loose ball, a lot of contact in there, but you know, over the back was the right call. And
that's only the second team foul, third on Capijal. But Tartan with a second chance. 3:20 and counting now left to go. Kimmons trying to create off the dribble, wanted to kick. Now he doesn't have anybody. And Tartan will reset. Tartan very content to be patient here in the second half. I think it's paid off. Kimmons goes the whole way. Huge block from Good News. Another block from Langford Johnson. Now North wants to run. DeJean Carter throws up the runner. Followed up by Good News. And boy, McKeel Weems had Good News all wrapped up. No call. He gets the rebound. Other end. Three-pointer short. Now Kimmons goes up. Looking for contact. Draws it. And we'll get a second to catch our breath.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, I was letting you do all the talking there, and I was just waiting to chime in, but too much action. But, you know, as we saw there, a couple great blocks on the defensive end. You know, North probably should have took the time and slowed it up a little bit heading on the offensive end, but weren't able to capitalize on the two blocks. And, you know, here we are, 1-point game, and the leading scorer of the game with 22 points on the line.
This is going to be 2 shots. Kimmons good on the first, so we're tied up at 56. Yeah, you can see why Tartan wanted to slow things down in the second half. Even that last little spell there when things were going frantic, Tartan nearly coughed it up a couple times on this end. That foul on Good News is his 4th. So he's going to have to be careful for the last 240. That's big.
And especially, you know, because, you know, he's the biggest factor he's been is on the defensive end. Offensively, he's been almost a non-factor.
Boy, Bryce Phillips, way to adjust in midair, double clutch, but even better, I think it was Joseph Kearney, number 10, getting a huge palm onto the ball and knocking it away. So 57-56. Good News with the ball going against McKeel Weems. He gets into the lane. Nearly had it tied up on his hip. He's able to get it up and into the bucket.
Yeah, that puts Good News in the double figures for the evening. And you know what? You know, big players rise at big moments. And here we are, 2 minutes left in a 1-point game, and no bigger moment than this.
It might be the Kimmons versus Good News show here pretty soon. Kimmons misses one, gets his own board. And boy, it looks like he's just on a diving board when he's hopping up and down.
Well, I think he's been on a mission since about 10 minutes left in the first half when it comes to, you know, the fact that he wasn't on the board yet. Now he's got 26 points.
I think this has a lot to do with not only North versus Tartan, but maybe Antoine Kimmons versus Good News Capejel. Capejel drives the lane, contact, nothing there. Kimmons is going to go the other way. He doesn't slow it down, gets a foul call, makes the bucket. Tartan section's going crazy, and Kimmons is going to have a chance to put his team up 4.
Yeah, he's carried this team this evening. You see the fast break.
And again, Langford Johnson just dragging that hand, no point.
Yeah,
to give the, you know, you just give him the refs.
Yeah, just wrap him up. Don't let him even go to the bucket. Make him earn it at the free throw line.
It's like the one, you don't do that in between that he's done, you know. Kimmons can't get the free throw to go. Looked like Phillips maybe knocked it out of bounds, but it's called against Tartan.
Yeah, that's close there on that.
Just kind of looked like the way Phillips swung his arm there.
Well, yeah, you know, when his swinging his arm that way and the ball goes that way, it's tough, at least from our seats up here.
Things stay interesting here
in the Tartan Gymnasium, 61-58. Bryce Phillips glides to the basket, but can't get the right-handed scoop layup to go.
Yeah, and that was a good, clean take. I mean, nothing wrong with that that shot. He just...
Joseph Kearney, dangerous, ill-advised pass. He just kind of threw it, spinning in midair. And it's a 61-60 game. All right, we're going to have a timeout. And it's Tartan taking it this time, 61-60 is your score. We got 1:04 left to go on the clock.
Full timeout taken by the Titans.
So timeout, we got time to catch our breath here. 61-60, Tartan jumping out to the lead, but we're going back and forth. Take a look at the standings. This is coming into this one. Both teams with very impressive records overall. Only 3 losses, but you see North St. Paul got the edge in the Metro East standings. North St. Paul running the table so far. And Tartan with a chance to knock them off here and give themselves a mathematical chance at a share of the Metro East Conference crown. Now North St. Paul probably got it wrapped up given these teams' remaining schedules, but even if North goes on to win the Metro East Conference, this would be a big win for Tartan going into the postseason and just for pride's sake. Good news, Capedgel on 4 fouls right now. Antoine Kimmons kind of taking things under his control offensively for Tartan. And Tartan has the basketball, the 1-point lead, and we're ready for the last 64 seconds. Antoine Kimmons nearly threw it away. Bryce Phillips got in on the passing lane, but it's going to stay here. 56.5 left to go. In one of the best District 622 rivalry games that we've had. Aggressive defense from the Polars as they're trying to intercept, trap, and get something. Kimmons finds himself under the basket and gets the layup. He wandered underneath. Somehow Brady Hartman got him the ball. Capedgel just going to take it himself. Goes back out. Makeel Weems has done a great job on his assignment on number 1. Bryce Phillips from way out. That's too long. Rebound Kearney. Kearney tries to keep it, but eventually he ends up traveling as he can't get his feet off the rebound. And we'll have another timeout. It's going to be North St. Paul ball. And I think they're trying to clarify whether or not the inbound's going to be underneath the basket. It looks like it will not be underneath the basket. North trailing by 3. 23.6 seconds left to go. So North technically could hold it for the last shot.
Yeah, as you can see, Antoine Kimmons, lead the way with 28 points. And, it was a conversation we had, in the first half. The fact that, he was about 7-8 minutes in the game. He had not registered a field goal yet or even on the score sheet. And, it's been pretty much all him from there on. North has let a 10-point lead go. And, Tartan's looking to, pull a little bit of the upset here at home this evening.
That'd be a big moment for them, and certainly for Antoine Kimmons, given the night he's had. It's always so tough when you tell somebody, don't try and do too much. But you like what Kimmons is doing. Maybe he's doing a little bit too much, but his grit and guile is getting him some points on the board. He's got Tartan leading things here right now.
Well, I think it's been a fun, just a fun style of the ball for him to play tonight. The jumper hasn't been there. He's taken some threes that he's missed, but he's known better just to, instead of just, continuing to shoot them, he's done with what's worked, and that's drive the ball to the basket. And, when he has dropped the double team, he's kicked it out to the right guy, and they've been able to knock the shots down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something big I just kind of thought about. His good news was D'ing up on Antoine Kimmons for most of the game, but now with the 4 fouls, it looks like they've had to switch him off. Can't afford to get that 5th foul. And so Kimmons has been able to put in a couple buckets since then. They were just trying to draw up the alley-oop to good news. Doesn't go to anybody but Brady Hartman. Hartman able to keep it alive without turning it over. Now up to Mikhail Weems, who can't put the layup in. Kearney battling for the rebound. Finally a whistle. And the possession arrow is with North St. Paul. And there are 10 seconds left to go in the game.
Yeah, what a situation there. I mean, you know, you've got the guy with the most athletic guy in the gym is on your team, but to draw up an alley-oop with a 6'5", high school player, it's one thing, if we're going like 6'10" and we're talking Kevin Durant here, but on that situation, I mean, you got plenty of time, and you've got hot shooters around, and you've got a lot of different options. I would have went into a half-court set and found the easy, the best look.
I agree with you there, Corey. Especially, I mean, think about how familiar these two teams are with each other. You think those Tartan players, Tartan coaching staff, doesn't think the ball is going to good news in that situation. So excellent execution by the Tartan defense to clamp down there, clog the middle, stop that from happening, and then even better to keep the ball, nearly turning it over in their own end to get it up ahead. Fortunately, Mikhail Williams can't get the sitting layup there. That pretty much would have iced things. And North's got a chance here, and they'll probably get a chance with a good look with 10 seconds.
I'm actually surprised. He had the open look there to kind of ice the game too, but I'm actually surprised they just let the guys play and then call a foul and let the game to be decided on the free throw line. So it was kind of nice to see that the refs just kind of let them scrap it out and see how it shakes out.
Definitely a whistle came in. They let them play for a little bit, but I think they got the right call there. Something needed to be called, and I'm glad they didn't put anybody on the line or anything like that.
Yeah,
Team fouls, nobody is in the bonus or won't be with the next foul, so don't got to worry about that. 63-60, 9.9 seconds to go. We'll see what North can draw up here. Langford Johnson's just going to go in for 2. Can't get that to go. Rebound to Tartan, and that'll be it. But we got a whistle as Khalil Golden, desperation foul. But with 1.5 seconds and a 3-point lead, Tartan is going to end North St. Paul's undefeated season in the Metro East Conference and get a huge win at home.
Yeah, before they, inbounded the ball there, I was, going to say if they can get the ball up quick enough, a quick 2 under the basket might be the good, a smart play and then play the foul game, and you just couldn't get the drop.
Antoine Kimmons almost did what I did, thinking that this was going to be a shooting foul, a 1-and-1. It wasn't. Nearly was distracted. The ball is inbounded. Hold on, we got fans trying to get on the court. I think there's still a half-second left to go. Tartan did inbound the ball. Hartman seemed like he held it for longer than a second and a half, which is what we had remaining on the clock. Of course, we don't have any type of video replay or anything in here. We've got a foul on Langford Johnson. That won't be free throws. So I think all Tartan has to do is inbound the ball, and that will be it.
I think the experience of Coach Klingsporn is something, added into this game just to keep the guys focused in on what was going on. It didn't matter if it was a 10-point deficit or whatnot, but they stuck with the game plan and they kept playing hard, and here we are.
Well, I said all Tartan has to do is inbound the ball. Yeah, tell that to Coach Mark Klingsporn. They've got 1.5 seconds left, and he knows anything can happen. Guy's been around 26 years, knows all too well that anything can happen in 1.5 seconds. Now, that is what's still on the clock, so I'm not sure. I thought Tartan already inbounded the ball, so sometime should have ran off, unless they called a foul before the inbound happened. Maybe that's what North is electing to try and do. They do get a foul.
He's going to shoot 2 there, Hartman.
Yeah, so that will get him to 17 fouls. It will be a 1-and-1. But if that the foul before this had to have happened, otherwise some time ran off the clock. There was a previous inbound to Hartman before. That was the 16th foul. Now another one has happened, both with 1.5 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, it's one of those deals where, I think there's so much emotion in the gym and so much going on. I think, you know, the refs might have lost a little control of this game here in the last few seconds.
Damian Johnson came all the way out to half court to say something to Good News. Hartman knocks down the first free throw. I think this is just a formality, as this one's pretty much concluded, although putting in the 4th point, giving the 4-point lead to Tartan, now a 5-point lead. Doesn't hurt, as there's no miraculous buzzer beater 5-point shot that can do anything here for North.
Well, they got to go through the motions here and at least inbound the ball.
Reminiscent of when the Saints had to defend the extra point against the Vikings after the Minneapolis Miracle. Nobody really wanting to do it. As soon as the palm hits the ball, that should be it, and it is. So Tartan, riding a huge second half, pulls off the upset, 65-60, and they take the District 622 rivalry at home.
Yeah, that was a great comeback, you know, and it was just hard fought to the point where, you know, it was nothing flashy, it was nothing spectacular. It was just sticking with the game plan, you know, deciding to, you know, play more of a half-court style of offense in the second half, you know, play some strong defense, and, you know, there it is, you know, good things happen.
So many of the North St. Paul points came in that first half on transition buckets. I think an excellent decision to slow things down, kind of put them in an uncomfortable position, and the results speak for themselves. So Tartan wins at 65-60. Let's take a look at a few highlights from today's game. Going to be a lot of three-pointers.
Yeah, that's what got us going there.
Notice with these highlights, it's a lot of different players contributing these three-pointers as well. Although for Tartan, not a lot of players, different players, I should say, got on the score sheet.
Yeah, a lot of it was just all Antoine Kimmins and, you know, just jump on my team, boys, and let's go.
North St. Paul varied their scoring a little bit, especially with Good News Capedral held to only 11 points, got a few of those at the free throw line. Didn't actually hit a lot of field goals, and really we didn't call his name a whole lot. Made a couple nice defensive plays, but Tartan, excellent job of taking him out of it as well.
Yeah, that was the game tying one there.
That's the big one.
Yep.
All right, well, saw a couple of three-pointers go down. We'll take a look at the leading scorers and who got some of them.
Yeah, you know, Tartan, there it is. You know, Antoine Kimmins, by far the player of the game. You know, she said, jump on my back, fellas. I'm going to carry us through this. And, you know, he did. And on the other end, you know, Good News Kabigo, you know, 11 points. That's, you know, it's not like him. You know, it's offensively, he just wasn't into the game there. And like I said, that had a lot to do with the outcome of tonight's matchup.
Got a lot of fouls, so eventually couldn't D up on Antoine Kimmins as much as he did in the first half. Kimmins had an explosive second half, ended up with 28, as you saw there. Tartan wins it 65-60. I want to thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.